Oh, hi. Hello, everybody. Hey. Welcome. Welcome to another Awakening stream. How is everybody doing tonight? We doing good?
Pretty great.
Everyone's cool? Okay. I don't know what Xylo's doing. Actually, I do know what Xylo's doing. It would just be weird to explain.
The camera's probably cut off just so it's known.
So we are here again for another Awakening stream. It is happening Thursday this week instead of Tuesday. Hashtag blame Xylo. Actually, hashtag blame Xylo / hashtag blame Kayla. Because these two decided to take a vacation. Who does that? But I will.
I'm here against you.
I will. Yeah, I will. I'm about to.
I don't know why she's looking at that other direction. I mean,
Mev, you didn't mirror our cameras.
Oh, I did. I thought I did. Oh, you were looking in the other direction when I did it before. Here, I got it real quick. Ready? Hold on. We're gonna flip. Xylo's looking the right direction. It's just you, Kayla, right?
No, because you're above me.
Xylo's above you.
I think it's okay.
No, I got this.
We're gonna Mev, okay.
We got
so yeah,
this.
as you guys can notice, me and Kayla are not in a normal setup. So we have laptops and the camera and a microphone all hooked up to one laptop, but other stuff hooked up to other
phone.
stuff. And
you know what
so we can see a little bit of that.
You know what I just did? I flipped around the overlay instead of her camera.
I see that. That's a little
professional.
And Mev's running
I'm now Kayla's character.
Channel.
Yeah.
Give a round of applause for that.
We got it working, almost, kind of. We're dealing with interesting things here right now.
It's a lot of stuff happening.
As I mentioned, Xylo and Kayla are on vacation, and they are at their B&B right now, and the internet is not fantastic. So their internet couldn't actually handle both of their webcams. Oh my God, we need to stop to acknowledge that.
Oh my goodness.
TCSYT, thank you for dropping 25 subs.
Oh man, that is.
Read them out, but we have a show to do, and I also only see 4 lines of chat at a time.
Yes.
We can get bigger, but then we can't say anything.
As we were saying, their internet is kind of sketchy. So actually, Kayla and Xylo are using the same exact webcam right now and the same exact mic. I just have it cropped so that they're each in their own window. But we're dealing with an extra interesting setup. So anything anybody want to say before we begin? Anything else we want to say? Anybody want to talk?
Anyone need any goat adjusted?
Mahoy Manoy. That's it. Mahoy Manoy.
I guess we're already starting a little bit late, so might as well get right into it.
Yes, indeed. And I do apologize for us being late. We were trying to get everything working, and yeah. But we're still here. So the way this is going to work is I am going to play a little bit of a recap from next week. That's actually going to start off with a little warning, you know, that we will kind of play each week just so we kind of cover our bases. Let people know that this might be a little triggering for some people, depending on what happens. You know, this is a spooky thing. So it's a little warning. It'll be a little recap. And then when we come back from the recap, we will be getting right into today's session. So I guess without further ado, y'all want to get into the recap?
Sure. The following story takes place in the horror genre, and therefore may contain disturbing imagery, description of violence, and mature themes. Proceed at your own risk.
Previously on Awakening.
Stop is this.
Great.
None of us. It's not our floor yet, right?
You do realize the elevator's supposed to go up until they reach their destination, so clearly something's wrong with the elevator. I'm just hitting the button.
Supposed to open.
I hit the elevator open button.
Nothing happens.
Is there a call button on the elevator for a situation like this?
Hello?
Hey, something happened to the elevator.
That's inconvenient.
You don't say.
My manager, Steve, he's usually the one who handles, like, the direct elevator repair. Steve just went on his lunch break. The lights, you know, flicker. They go fully dark for about 3 seconds. When they come back, Doug is gone.
Thank God.
Okay, as much...
annoying.
No. As annoying as he was, where Does anyone have an explanation?
Well, this is extra inconvenient now. Don't suppose you got a flash on that camera, do you, Jacob?
Nobody answers you. And you also notice your voice sounds a lot more echoey than it should for a small elevator. As you reach around, you notice there is nobody within arm's reach of you. You can't feel like anything. You just hear a... Hello, Doug. And you are suddenly back in the elevator.
Oh.
Hey, guys. Something's going on, and I feel like I just had an episode. Don't really know how to explain it.
Suddenly, you hear a noise, and the elevator doors open. As you shine your flashlight down the hallway, you probably notice at the end of the hallway the nameplate for an office you are quite familiar with. It is Lenny Colworth's office, the private investigator.
What, is he not in there?
Oh, he's in there.
What's the problem?
I think he's dead.
I want to win some awards, so, you know, I'm gonna take a picture.
Are you serious? That's incredibly disrespectful.
You didn't say he looked like a mummy who got sucked through a bendy straw.
Kayla, or Jules, shall I say, as you go to take a step, you notice you can't move.
Might need a little help here.
I found a book. Looks like it wasn't dusty, it wasn't all messed up like everything else in here. It said, you're next. Grammar was accurate, so I assume it was talking about whoever this book was left for, or me.
You actually hear a noise, and the elevator doors open, and you suddenly, each, individually, wake up in your own bed. We are gonna start off today's session with Jacob. Jacob just woke up from, needless to say, an interesting dream that we all saw last week. I'm gonna ask you to roll for me, Jakey. And I'm gonna do a little bit better about this time, chat, in explaining what I'm having people roll for. And I'm going to say that this roll is to determine whether or not, okay, all right, this is whether or not Jakey remembers the dream. Or whether or not Jacob remembers the dream. Now, Jacob's mind stat, let's see what your mind stat is. Okay, your mind stat is a 50. And your photographic memory skill is a 35. Now, you failed both of those. So, we're going to say when you wake up, you don't remember this dream. But it still has a bit of a lingering effect on you. Like, you ever have a dream where you wake up and you remember it, but it's gone in like 10 seconds? It's kind of like that. Like, you have it for a second, you remember this weird stuff, you remember an elevator, you remember a dead body, but then, like, within 10 seconds of kind of waking up, it's gone. And all the face cams are messed up because we lost Mitch. Oh, no. Where did Mitch go? We lost your camera, Mitch. Oh, there we go.
Oh, no, that wasn't me.
It was supposed to be us. Oh wait, it was us.
It was. I am coming back.
I can't see Mitch. Mitch is grayed out for... Oh, wait, no, because your camera's covered. Duh.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh, it was them. We're back. That might happen a lot tonight.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Good.
Everything's fine, guys. This is not...
I didn't do it that time. It was just the internet dropped.
Anyway, thank you, chat, for the bits. Carry on, Mev.
Yes. So you don't remember this, Jacob. You don't remember the dream at all, but you do have this kind of like uneasy feeling that you might have just had a bad dream. Now, can you describe Jacob's apartment to us? Like, what kind of place does Jacob live in?
Jacob lives in a very modern, very sophisticated, nice apartment, quite spacious, with a lot of, like, artwork hanging around, there's, all those. It's a very simple but very modern style.
Okay.
And, he's just very, got his life together. He just, had a really nice place going on, just living his life, of fame.
Mm-hmm. Would you say he has like a, is it nicely decorated, but like kind of minimal maybe?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So, probably pretty expensive looking, I would guess.
Oh, yes. Very expensive.
So Jacob's a fancy boy. Jacob's doing pretty well for himself.
Yeah.
So we will say, oh yeah, what do you do when you get up? Like, what would Jacob do when he wakes up? Like his typical kind of day.
And then clean myself up, and then I just change, and then make myself coffee, just a little bit of food for breakfast, and then taking a look at my my phone to check my schedule, and maybe some of my work that I did, just to take a quick review, just on my camera or whatever.
Okay.
Some sort of that. Yeah.
Oh, did you say you look at your camera?
Something that I would do, just when I get up, just reviewing the work that I did from yesterday.
Okay, Jacob, when you go to look at your camera, you
Right.
notice you notice a very interesting photograph that you don't remember taking. You see a sort of dark office. You see a leathery looking dead body in the frame.
Yep.
How do you think Jacob would feel about this photograph? Like just being on his phone, you never remember taking it.
Have like a million question going through my head, like when did this happen? Like, obviously there's no memories from yesterday that I was on a set or anything. Plus, Jacob usually takes different kind of pictures. This is very different from his recent work. So it's a little bit, surprised and upset by the picture that he's just seeing. He's finding it very weird as well.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. We'll say as you're kind of like looking at that photo, confused, like where did that photo come from? We'll also say maybe it's you get a weird feeling from the photo too, where you don't remember taking it, but for some reason it feels a little bit familiar, but you can't really quite put your finger on what it is. People are saying no sound, but I don't think that's true. I think you're lying, chat, because I think we definitely have sound right now.
Oh.
I think we're fine. Are they lying to me? There is sound. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
So as you're kind of looking at your camera, confused as to where this picture came from, your phone starts vibrating.
Vibrating sound effects.
And when you look down, you notice like, oh, it's Sam. It's somebody you know.
Oh.
Do you answer?
Yeah. Of course. Hey, Sam.
Oh, hey, yo, Jacob, how you doing, man?
Doing great. Just got up. What's up?
Nothing. I was just wondering what you're getting into today. Oh, you going to Kaylee's opening tonight? I heard she's got an opening over at the Hanhauser gallery.
Oh, right. Yeah. Maybe. I'm not sure. I might have some work to get to, but I'll see. Maybe if I can.
Yeah, I
come.
mean, you're probably better off. Like, do you remember her last gallery opening? Like, all her photographs were of cats. What was that about? Like,
Yeah,
it was
choices. Yeah, that's why I would think about it. I mean,
okay,
I'll see.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
isn't today that interview the one with the modern photography interview?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Almost slipped my mind. There's way too many similar interviews. It's just another one of those. But yeah, yeah, I do have to get to that in a bit, actually.
Oh, okay.
I have to get ready.
Well, good luck.
So...
I'm sure you'll do great.
Yeah, it's whatever.
And, yeah, I mean, I guess maybe I'll see you at Kaylee's premiere later tonight. If not, you know, I'll catch you at the next one. I'm kind of obligated to go. Like, she came to my last one, so I kind of feel, like, obligated, like I have to go.
Well, we'll see. You know, if I don't show up, good luck to you. You know, hopefully you can make it through.
Yeah, hopefully. I appreciate it. Anyway, yeah, just want to call, say hello, and I guess I'll talk to you soon, Jacob.
All right, talk to you later.
And Jacob hangs up the phone. As we just learned, he has an interview he needs to go to today. And I guess do you do anything, Jacob, before that happens? I hear Kayla laughing.
I guess I'm just gonna, like, before I go, I would, like, just really out of curiosity, just, like, check the camera one last time of that photo.
Yeah, the photo is still there. And,
yeah.
even though you are a very good photographer, you're really good at framing shots, we will actually, hold on one second. Let's just see if you have a skill. All right, you have a skill called Photographer's Eye, correct?
Yes.
We are going to roll against that skill. So this is a thing that's going to happen sometimes. I'm saying this to the players and to the audience. All the players have different skills, and sometimes they can use those skills to do things that they want to. Or we will also be using those skills to roll against. Like, every once in a while, they'll have to roll against that skill. I am also hearing some static. People in chat are saying, I'm guessing it would be somebody's cell phone near a microphone. That's usually the kind of noise it gives. So anyway, yeah, Jakey, we're going to ask you to roll again against your Photographer's Eye skill. Okay, so Jakey's Photographer's Eye skill is 40. He rolled a 53, so that is a failing roll. So we are going to say you went to snap this picture kind of quickly. And in the picture, you didn't really get to frame it perfectly. So you see, you actually see somebody's shoulder in the picture a little bit. So we'll say you notice that as you look at the picture again, you look sort of in the bottom left corner of the picture and you see what you're pretty sure is somebody's shoulder. So not only was this picture taken and on your phone, it is somebody else was there. You know that much. Okay. So I guess are you going to head out to your interview?
Yes, because I'm running out of time. So
okay.
Don't want to be late.
All right, so we see Jacob leave his apartment. He heads to where the interview is. We're going to say, I didn't think of this beforehand, so we'll just pretend that you guys are meeting in, like, a hotel lobby, just to, like, maybe sit in the lounge and, like, interview there. Okay? So, Jacob arrives at the lobby. When he enters, he sees two people sitting down. One is a man, pretty nicely dressed with a button-down shirt. He's got, like, a little notepad. And you see a young female with him sitting down, and she has a laptop with her. And you probably, from setting up these interviews, you probably recognize them, right? Right. He sees you. He's like, "Oh, Jacob, glad you could make it. It's good to see you."
Hey, I'm glad I'm, for this interview. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, we're really excited too. I mean, this was a long time coming. You were a hard guy to get a hold of, but I imagine with all your popularity and stuff lately, you're pretty busy, I bet.
Well, at least, I'm here now, so we finally let this happen, and,
Okay. By the way, I'm Hank. I'm the one you talk to on the phone. And this is Jane. She's just gonna be writing out, everything we say.
Hey, okay.
Yeah, it's just so I don't have to worry about typing while I'm interviewing you. You know, I can kind of focus on you know, the questions and stuff like that.
Sure, right, yeah.
And also, I should say this ahead of time. You know, it's not like we're going to get into anything too crazy. Why is... Okay, this is such a bootleg stream. I'm still getting my stream notifications, even though they're all, like, muted. Anyway, if it keeps happening often enough, I'm going to have to, like, delete them on the break. It's fine. Yeah, let me just say ahead of time, it's not like we're going to get into anything, you know, too crazy in the interview and stuff, but, afterwards, when we're done, if there's anything, you know, we talked about, you don't want us to print, you know, just let us know. You know, we do want to keep you happy, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm pretty chill. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, shall we get started then?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Let's start at the beginning. What got you interested in photography in the first place? Like, what made you gravitate towards photography?
Well, when I was really young, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, especially my grandpa, and he's like such a fanatic when it comes to taking pictures, and he kind of got me into the with the cameras and taking pictures. He has a lot of cameras, and like whenever I have vacation, I go to his place. He always like takes me to places, and we take like really nice pictures. And I think that's kind of when I really like falling in love with like taking pictures, photography. Like he taught me a lot, like what's a good angle and everything. So since a very young age, I am like already like really into that stuff. And as I grow up, I decided to really I don't just want this to be a hobby. I just I've been taking a lot of pictures over the years, so I decided to just get into college and and just like really try to pursue this photography as like a kind of career, and it kind of worked. So here I am. I think it worked out well.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say. I mean, your photographs have certainly exploded in popularity over like the past couple of years. Like in the photography world, you're pretty much like on top now. Like, how does that feel? Did you ever really expect to get the success that you've achieved?
I mean, I guess like I mean, I'm just like everyone. We all hope to get to some places eventually, and I guess I'm just grateful, and I feel lucky that I'm one of the ones that actually are able to receive the recognition and just have people appreciate my work just as much as I do. But it feels nice because like I do know that I put in all of dedication, work and time and effort and getting those pictures out nicely. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I must say it's a huge, I'm a huge fan of your work for sure.
Oh yeah.
I will actually that kind of brings me to another topic. Like, speaking of the pictures, in more recent years, a lot of people have noticed your style has changed pretty drastically. Is there anything you would want to do to kind of comment on that?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I do know that my style has changed. It's just basically how different times you get inspired by different things. Like for the recent years, I just really into the party life. With my latest collection, Life of the Party Part 4. This latest photo collection is all about different parts of people, what they go through in big parties, like how people get lost and how people find love, and how people just have a really good time. I'm just trying to capture all those moments, and it's been really fun. That's what I've been loving to do. Just like the really fancy, luxurious lifestyle in general. So just like that's what I I'm really intrigued at the moment, and that's why I'm doing a lot of those things lately.
Yeah, and it seems the photography world has really kind of taken to it. People seem to really respond, well to it.
Yeah.
I do feel like I have to mention, sort of the elephant in the room. There was a bit of controversy, I'd say is a good word for it, that you were part of over the, maybe a couple of years ago. Did you want to comment on that situation at all?
Oh, I mean, I just show my pictures. Of course, I'm sure you're referring to, my one collection back in the days called the Hidden Figures, where I try to, go to, some places to look into like unsung heroes, and I know that there's in particular there's this picture that got a lot of people talking. At the end of the day, I just took what I see and I just try to tell a story in my photos. Obviously, some people saw some of the pictures and they have different opinions, and which I respect. And I think I'm glad it got a lot of discussion, which I guess it did help a lot on where I'm at today.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think there's much I gonna, it's a few years ago. I don't think there's much to really talk about, when it comes to those, pictures I took in the past. I'm moving forward, looking into, what I'm gonna do next. That's what I feel like, should be the focus.
Okay. And I mean, you mentioned a specific photo. I think we both know what photo we're talking about here.
Right.
A lot of people, as a lot of the controversy was a lot of people arguing on the internet. There was all sorts of conspiracies about it, and a lot of people claimed that you faked the photograph. What is your response to that?
I mean, I've said it once. I've said it many times, actually. I mean, everything that I did it's all real. It's it's very authentic. I don't do any almost 90% of the time I don't really do editing. At most it's 10% of the time I just do a little bit of balancing the saturation, whatever, the lighting kind of thing, add a little bit of filter, but I never change anything. Everything that I photograph, it's what I see through the lens. So it's all real. That's all I'm gonna say. I know a lot of people are saying that they don't think like that, but I just call those people haters, and I just don't really, care about them. I know there are a lot of people behind them. I have a great group of fans and people who appreciate my work. So
that's that's great. I appreciate it. I think that covers most of the stuff I want to ask you. I mean, we will of course include stuff about your new series that's coming out and stuff like that, and
of course,
and we'll do all the appropriate plugs. Of course, if you don't mind, in the spots in the interview where you mention your new your Life of the Party series, if we could include a couple of those photographs in the magazine, that would be great. Just so
of course,
the readers have a reference and stuff. And
I can get my assistant to send you the pictures. Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, and you were fine with everything I asked you? Jane, you did get all of that, right? And you see the young woman kind of look up and she just kind of nods. She's probably like an intern, if you had to guess.
Well, yeah, I think it sounds about right. I just hope the interview it's more focused on the recent stuff.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we'll definitely try to keep the article mainly focused on the new stuff. It would just, people would be...
Yeah.
People kind of want us to mention that, that incident with that photo.
I get it. I get it. I just don't want it to be the center of everything, because we are way past that. So.
Oh no, absolutely. We will definitely keep the focus of the article on the new stuff. And Jacob, I guess thank you very much for coming and meeting with us today.
Yeah, I'm glad. Okay, yeah, well, I'm gonna go because, got more work to get to.
Yep, understandable. I know you're a busy man. Again, thank you for taking the time. You have a good one, Jacob.
Okay.
And the woman looks up and she waves and smiles.
All right.
So does Jacob do anything else kind of interesting that day? Do you want to kind of just walk us through it a little bit, or does he pretty much kind of go home, do some work again, that kind of stuff? Just give us a brief walkthrough of what Jacob would do up until about when he would probably go to bed.
He probably just, gets back to his studio and, talk to his assistant a bit, and then just, try to go through some of his photos, just work stuff. And, just pretty much a regular day. I think he's pretty much kind of done for the day.
Okay. So maybe we'll say this, as we see Jacob, maybe on his laptop, checking some of the social medias and stuff, because that is probably also an important part of his job.
Right. Yes.
We will fade out on Jacob on his laptop, probably in his sweatpants and a t-shirt, ready to go to bed clothes, in his kind of pajamas or whatever Jacob would sleep in.
Yep.
And right
Fancy
there,
clothes.
we are going to switch scenes. And we are going to join... who's next? We're going to join Doug. Good old Doug. That's not Kayla's hand at all.
Oh, yeah, that is.
Okay, so Doug wakes up in his apartment after this really weird, crazy dream that we all know what happened. Could you roll for me, Mr. Phony? And I believe you know what you're rolling for. We are rolling. Basically, the way I'm playing this, I'm having them roll against their mind stat. Some of them have, a memory stat. So if they beat both of them, I'll have you guys, really remember stuff. But for this, I'm basically just having you guys roll against your mind stat. Okay, Xylo rolls a 39. And his mind stat is a 56. A strong-minded fellow, that Doug. Yeah, Xylo's gonna cut out a little bit every once in a while because his internet is yay.
Perfectly fine.
So, Doug, you remember this really weird dream that you just had. You were in an office building. You got stuck in an elevator with some people who weren't that friendly. You disappeared into this black abyss kind of area. You heard a voice. You touched a book. You couldn't talk. You remember most of the things. I mean, you don't remember everything down to every tiny little detail, but you remember a lot of things. We will, does Doug kind of say anything, or does he just sort of look around
before he says anything, he gets up out of bed. The sheets are probably on the ground right now, and he just leans over and grabs this regular notebook and just starts scribbling in it.
Oh, really?
Dream journal. It's another one. It's another one. Oh, this was a weird one.
Okay, so Doug,
so details he can remember.
As Doug is writing down the details of this dream into his dream journal, could you describe to us the sort of place that Doug lives in?
Well, in this room, it's a very messy-looking bedroom. There's literally just piles of stuff everywhere. You see a bunch of just cardboard Amazon boxes just stacked up on one side of the room. On the other side of the room is this dog bed that's empty at the time right now, and it's just kind of torn to shreds. And yeah, it's just a organized chaos, he likes to call it. Okay.
All right, so we'll say you finish writing down everything in your dream journal. How detailed does Doug get with his dream journal? Are we talking bullet points or paragraphs?
Probably just way too many bullet points.
Okay, so when he goes back to it later, yeah.
About, things, but then other non-important things, they're also down in bullet points.
Okay.
So it's just 2 full pages of just 3-word bullet points.
Okay. I'm gonna assume because I forgot to ask Jakey. Jakey can unmute and answer this if he wants. Does Jacob live alone? Jakey. If he doesn't answer, he might have just like stepped away from a second because he knows he's not going to have to be here for a second. So, well, actually, the reason I'm going to ask is I'm going to pose the same question to you, Mr. Phony. Does Doug live alone?
Yes, at the moment, Doug does live alone.
Okay.
But not quite alone. He's got 2 dogs and a turtle.
Oh, 2 dogs and a turtle. What are their names?
Well, 2 dogs. They're cute little wiener dogs. We call them ketchup and mayo.
Okay.
You know, wiener dogs. Turtle's name is Frank.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so I'm gonna... Oh, wait, no, that's gonna switch everything. I'll have to do it during break. Oh, I can't do it then either. I'm getting all of my, Nightbot or Streamlabs notifications, even though I muted them all.
Everyone stop following. Stop it.
Nobody follow Mev's channel. That's just gonna encourage them to do it more. Anyway, could you walk us through a typical Doug morning? Like, what does Doug do when he gets up?
Well, Doug gets up about 1 p.m., walks out his door, goes to the bathroom, walks over to the kitchen, gets a pot of coffee on, goes into the cabinet, gets all the coffee stuff set up, goes in the cabinet, gets some dog food, pours it in a bowl, gets some turtle food, gently puts it in front of the little pen that he has Franklin in. Here you go, Franklin. You eat up. Want to see you big and strong. Good. And then he just goes to get some coffee, and then he just starts looking through. He just opens up a laptop and starts scrolling through the internet.
Okay, he's scrolling through the internet.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Emails, looking for emails, maybe.
Okay.
Well, look who decided to show.
Okay, we did it. We encouraged them. I'm gonna have to go into Streamlabs real quick.
Stop. Never follow Mev ever again.
And mute this somehow. Oh, stop trying. I've been in Streamlabs all the time. Stop trying to give me tutorials. Okay, so I'm gonna ask a question, Mr. Phony.
Mm-hmm.
Does Doug have any appointments today?
Why, yes, indeed. This one he's been looking quite forward to.
Okay. All right, so Doug has an appointment today. I believe chat kind of knows a little bit about it. Dude, I turned it off and it's still happening. It's going to drive me insane. It's really...
Ghost adjusters could handle that, but can't handle everything. Just the paranormal.
Oh, I didn't save, that's why. Okay, we got this. We got this. Follow, disable, save.
Nailed it.
Okay. We should be good now. So, Doug has an appointment today. We're going to say Doug's appointment is, I guess you just kind of know them by name, right?
Sure.
You know it as all you know is you have an appointment with a woman named Ruth Simmons today. Would Doug do anything before heading out to his appointment?
I think he's gonna look through his bag, make sure he has anything, something to capture the ghosts, something to convince the ghosts to, show themselves, something in case he needs to defend himself, something that'll, manage to do just that. Everything he needs, just in case, ghosts start coming out, but it's chances are they're not, but just in case. And, things to look the part, just in case they just come out and grab you out of nowhere with some tongs or something. Wouldn't want that.
Okay. So, you got all your stuff together. I guess you head out to the address that you have. It is it's a nice, quaint little house. It's not big. It's really small. There's, some nice, flower arrangements out front. There's a nice little wind chimes on the front. So yeah, you arrive at this house. What do? I guess you walk up and, do you ring the doorbell or something?
Bag, looking good. Make sure my collar is all nice and even. Ghost adjuster. Shirt still has an S on it. We'll have to get that fixed at some point. It's fine. Knock, knock, knock.
Okay. You knock on the door. There's no answer.
I look for a doorbell.
There is a doorbell.
I hit the doorbell.
How many times do you press it?
Just give it a little double tap.
Okay. We're gonna say you hit it extra by accident.
I hit it a bunch of times. Come on, Doug.
Hello. I'll be right there. I'm coming to the door. And opening the door is a little old lady, who you can assume is Ruth Simmons. Oh, hello. You must be Mr. Diggums.
Oh, Miss Simmons, is your mother home? I need to speak with her about an appointment.
Oh, you are so flattering. That is very kind of you. I'm Miss Simmons. I'm the one who made the appointment.
So what kind of problems do you have around here? Should we get right into things?
Yes, sure. I suppose. Would you like some coffee or some tea or anything or any sort of beverage?
I wouldn't want to impose, but if you insist, might be good to get a little lay of the land, see how a normal day in your life sits before looking into any paranormal nonsense that may be happening.
Oh, yes, it'll be so nice having company again. I mean, I know you're here on official business, but I'd love to make you some coffee. It's been a little lonely ever since poor Monty died. Monty was my husband, you see.
I understand.
In fact, he's part of the reason I called you here. You see, I think he's haunting me.
Monty haunting you? Did you two, forgive me if I pry, but did you two have a good relationship?
I mean, he was a pain in my neck, but I mean, I loved him and he loved me. We were together for a very, very, very long time.
Well, maybe if he's rather attached to your soul, then he could definitely be lingering around the area just because maybe there was some sort of closure that didn't happen between the two of you. Maybe just some way he just wants to cling to you. And hey, can't blame him, but...
That's what I was thinking. You see, I was at bingo the other night, and I was talking to my friend Susie, and I was saying it could be Monty. Maybe Monty's the reason I'm hearing noises around the house, and doors seem to close on their own, and all sorts of, interesting things I can't explain. And I was starting to kind of get used to it a little bit, but then I saw your commercial, and I was like, that is a man who looks like he knows how to get things done.
Of course, I mean, we at Ghost Adjuster happen to be very much experts in this sort of topic, and whether the spirit be just a lingering loved one or a malicious intended spirit, we can do you a great service in making sure that they are parted to where they must go, and you're left to live as you must live.
Oh, that all sounds very complicated, but I trust you. Here's your coffee, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much.
So how does this work? Do you have a little machine you wave around or something? Or, I mean, you're the expert. Tell me how this goes.
Yeah, the machine can definitely help us find out if they're a spirit, but first, we must make sure to cleanse your soul to make sure there's no evil spirits that can get in. You wouldn't want to be possessed or anything like that. Last thing I would want to do is bring any harm to you. So,
wait, do you think Monty might possess me?
No. It's a precaution we tend to take, just in case he does something he's not willing to leave. So.
Okay. Well, you're the expert. What do we have to do?
I take out my sage stick and a match.
Okay.
It's a very simple ritual. We just need to guide a little bit of this mystical smoke around the house, and it should give a nice, clean essence to you.
Okay. Let me go see something.
Yeah, see. He has like a bunch of different bundles, and they're not even all sage in his bag. He just grabs one of them, looks at it, nods.
As you've been doing it for a little while, I just rolled for this, just so you guys know. The smoke alarm actually goes off. Oh dear, what is that noise? And it's just like beep, 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 really, really loud.
Don't need to bring out the machine, ma'am. I can tell he's here.
Oh dear, I think whatever you're burning there is setting off a smoke alarm.
Oh no, this usually wouldn't do such a thing. This can only mean one thing. Your house is indeed haunted, ma'am.
You think so? I always thought it was a way to determine whether or not something was on fire. But
That can often be the case. But you said it yourself. Doors slamming, windows opening and closing, alarms going off when they shouldn't go off. Weird things are happening.
Oh, okay. It's still beeping, by the way. Do you, like, reach up and take the battery out or anything like that, or you just let it beep?
Yeah, after a while, I'd probably be very careful. I need to do this very delicately so nothing bad happens. And I just, like, mess with it until it stops beeping.
Okay.
Probably done this before.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so now that you've determined there are ghosts, what do we do? How do we get rid of them? You know, I knew Monty would do this if he died before me. He was always a pain in my neck, and of course he would be a pain in my neck in the afterlife, too. This is classic Monty.
Now, don't get too upset with him. It just means he cares about you and wants to stay with you a little bit longer. You care about him as well?
When you put it that way, it's actually kind of sweet, I suppose.
Of course.
Maybe I don't want you to get rid of him.
Now, keep in mind, his soul must pass to the afterlife, or bad things can happen. Now, many a souls that you've heard of before, many ghosts, they begin just like Monty right here. But eventually, in isolation, on the other side, they can turn into something dangerous. Scary, even.
Oh, okay. As I said, you are the expert, so I trust you. If you feel like Monty would be happier moving on to the afterlife, then that is probably the right thing to do.
Good. Now, I can certainly tell you as much about what's going on here. We've already established the house is haunted, but if you would like to get the deluxe package, I can decide to exorcise this ghost from your property.
Oh dear. Okay. Oh, okay. What is that gonna cost me?
Oh, I pull out a clipboard with a little contract on it. It's just simply an additional, $50 to the charge for the next. It's fine. It's right there in the print. All you need to do is sign this in agreements, just because you need the willingness of the loved ones and whatnot, and then we can get this spirit right out of the way.
Okay. Well, money has been sort of tight ever since Monty passed away, and we don't get his social security anymore, but let me check if I can afford it. And you see Ruth open up like a little checkbook. She's totally old school. She doesn't do anything online. She still writes checks and like balances her checkbook and stuff. She's like, oh, I suppose I could afford an extra 50. You are quite expensive, but if it helps Monty get peace, I'd say it's a worthy expense.
I think it's the right thing to do.
Oh, okay, dear. Who should I? Well, do you want the check now, or do you want to wait until you're finished?
If you, while I'm looking through things, if you want to just write it out to Ghost Adjusters, the business right there, I'll give you my information and all that. You just fill that right out, and everything can be sorted.
Okay, Ghost Adjusters, easily enough. I will write that out to you, and you do what you need to do.
Wait a second.
What?
That light always been flickering.
I don't know. I didn't really think. I suppose now that I think about it, it just started happening like a week or two ago. I thought the bulb might just be going bad.
All right, just be very careful. You just keep doing what you're doing. And he reaches into his bag and pulls out what looks to be just a set of binoculars and looks at the lamp through the binoculars.
Of course he does. All right, so
with the lenses on him.
So you're already sort of going down this path, but I was just about to excuse me. ask you to describe What is happening? What is Doug doing as Ruth looks down at her checkbook and starts to write out her checkbook? Like, what is Doug's routine here?
Doug is trying to use as many of the things in his bag as possible to make this look like a very serious situation. Now, he probably, hopes somewhere that there is a ghost in the house, but he has his doubts, so he's just going to play along and hope that everyone can walk away from this situation happy, and him preferably well paid.
Okay. So, how long does it take you, do you think, to go through your routine?
He spends probably about an hour just going around the house, like asking, where is he usually? Where's some of his favorite places, if this is indeed him? And...
Now, you can kind of tell. It's actually kind of sad. Ruth is you could tell she's like a lonely old lady. So she never, in that hour, she probably never really leaves you alone for too long. Every once in a while, she'll pop in and be like, "How's everything going, dear? Can I get you another cup of coffee?"
Yes, ma'am. That would be wonderful. Seems like, from what I can see so far, your husband was a great man.
Oh, that's good to hear. Tell me if you need anything else.
Will do, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, he just continues about his routine.
So we'll say, I guess you wrap up your routine, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, this voice is making me cough.
He pulls out his little spectral reading graphing calculator and he, moves it around. There's no more beeping. Nothing at all. Everything seems very clear to me, Miss Simmons.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Diggums. I don't know how I can ever repay. Well, I'm paying you, but aside from that, I feel like I owe you more. You've helped me so much, and I'm sure you've done a wonderful thing for Monty. I hope he can finally be at peace now.
Of course, ma'am. And this is, from the bottom of my heart. You gave me your hospitality, a good cup of coffee, and I mean a good cup of coffee. So I consider us even. But if you have any friends that have similar things, I know you frequent the bingo hall, then you just let them know that I can be of service to them. And he hands her about 10 business cards.
Okay. Okay, dear. She takes the 10 business cards, and she's like, oh, by the way, it was a little hard for me to follow because, the talking was a little quick at the end of the commercial. What is the guarantee on these services? You mentioned something about it at the end of your commercial, but I didn't quite catch it all.
Oh, of course. Well, if after, a 2 to 3 month period, the ghost or spirit returns, then you can get us to come right back in, free of charge. And then if we do any additional services, it'll be at a 50% discount.
Oh, that sounds like a wonderful deal, actually.
Indeed.
Well, I again thank you, Mr. Diggums, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And she starts to kind of escort you out the front door.
Yep. He just leaves, gives her a friendly wave as he goes, and then turns to his vehicle to go probably straight back to home.
Okay, cool. So Doug heads home. Does he do anything else, kind of important that day?
I think he just once again, starts like looking up strange, abnormal, potentially ghostly activities just so he can find new clients, find some new customers, and so he's just always looking that stuff up.
Okay.
Maybe watches a little YouTube.
This is a fun question. What does Doug eat for dinner?
What does Doug eat for dinner? I think this night he wants to celebrate a little bit. I think he's going to make a mighty fine grilled cheese.
Ooh, a fancy grilled cheese. Nice.
Yep.
And we will say, as Doug's kind of going through his things, maybe he was focusing on his work during the appointment, so maybe it didn't really pop in his head that, at that point, that was like enough of a distraction. But a couple times throughout the day, that dream sort of pops back into your head a little bit. Particularly, I guess, the image of the body at the desk. It was such like an abnormal dead body. Not that any dead body is like normal looking, but this one was so extra abnormal. It sort of stuck out. It just kind of pops in your head a little bit every time, and you're probably like, "Oh man, that weird dream I had last night. That was wacky."
Yeah, I think throughout his day he just looks around hoping he doesn't see anything that reminds him of the dream. He sees a book on the table. He has to double glance at it, like, just making sure.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say you don't see anything too out of the ordinary. And I guess as Doug, similar to Jacob, as Doug is, I guess, kind of on his computer, maybe looking stuff up, as you said, we fade out and we change scenes once again. And this time, we are going to join Jules. Hi, Jules.
Hey.
How you doing? All right, so similar to our other two characters, Jules wakes up after this wacky dream that Jules just had. And I'm going to ask you to roll for me, Kayla, and you're going to be rolling against her mind stat, and we're doing this to see if you remember the dream you just had.
Alright.
37. Your mind is 65. So, we will say you definitely remember the dream you just had. I'd say you were here for when I described the amount of detail that Doug remembered. He doesn't remember every tiny little detail, but you remember most of the dream. You remember the body, the elevator. You probably remember Doug, because he was a pain in the neck.
Oh, no. Yeah, definitely.
Freaking Doug, like that guy. Could you describe to us the type of place that Jules lives in?
Alright, well, first off, I feel like she might have not woken up in her bed. I kind of almost picture her at a desk surrounded by a bunch of papers, and she kind of just like dozed off while doing her research in the middle of the night. I picture her semi-decent apartment, but she doesn't spend a lot of time there, so I imagine like a good like thin layer of dust over everything, and then just pieces of papers kind of everywhere. She doesn't really use her kitchen ever, so not much in there.
Does she order a lot of like takeout pretty much, or she's just like eating at work?
Yeah, I picture her kind of like eating at work when she does eat, but like also maybe like Chinese takeout every couple of nights out of the week or something.
Okay, cool. Could you describe a typical Jules morning? As you said, you wake up at your desk, right?
Yeah, so this morning in particular, I imagine her waking up at her desk. She probably takes a moment to think about the dream. If she fell asleep without, setting an alarm or everything, I kind of picture her like looking at her watch or phone or whatever to see the time, and then probably scrambling to get out and get ready. Of course, grabbing a cup of coffee before she goes.
Okay, I'm gonna roll right now, and I'm just telling you guys what I'm doing. I'm still gonna keep some of my rolls and things secret, but I'm trying to consciously explain more to people so they know what's going on. I'm rolling right now a D100. If it's over 50, you're running late. If it's lower than 50, you woke up on time and you're not like running late. You still have enough time to kind of get ready for work. All right, yeah, you were running late. I rolled a 97. So you wake up and 97's pretty bad too. Yeah, you were already supposed to be there.
Yeah, so she's just scrambling, getting all of her papers together. She probably throws her hair back in a ponytail, didn't have time to shower. Makes time to get coffee, but aside from that, she's just kind of scrambling. Possibly even picture her in like what she wore yesterday or something.
Okay. And I guess she kind of runs out the door and rushes off to work, right?
Yep.
Okay. You show up at work. You walk through the front door of the police station. And let me actually ask you to roll, and just so everybody knows, and so you know, you were going to be rolling against your notice skill. Okay, you rolled a 46, and Jules' notice skill is a 25, so we will say you did not notice the thing I was about to say. So you walk in, you kind of go about your day as you normally would. We will say that even though you were running late, you're a detective and you've been around a while. Nobody really yells at you. There's nobody, like, giving you kind of crap. You work hard, so nobody really, like, considers you a slacker or someone who's, like, you're not late often. This is just, like, a kind of a fluke sort of thing. And, we'll say, as you're kind of walking down the hallway, you see another detective that you know well. His name is Detective O'Malley. And he kind of like hits you on the arm and he's just like, yo, Lancaster.
What's going on?
You hear about what happened to Lenny?
Yeah, no. What happened to Lenny?
Yeah, Lenny, the private investigator guy. Yeah, he disappeared. Like, nobody knows where he is.
Wait, really?
Yeah, he's been gone for, like, a couple of days. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. A lot of the other detectives are wondering, like, where he went and stuff. And they found some weird stuff at his office, too. Like, they found this...
What?
They found this weird, like, book... And it had this, like, letter tucked into it that said, like, "You're next" on it. It looked like it was written in blood. Forensics checked out the blood. There's no ID match on the blood, but it's blood. They confirmed that much. And, like, they found this weird little, like, trinket thing. It was, I don't know, it was weird. I mean, you should go to evidence and, like, check some of it out if you're kind of interested. It's some weird stuff. It's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah, I definitely will. I think something weird's going on today. That's strange, but thank you for telling me.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so what does Jules do at this point?
Can she take a look in her notebook that she had in the dream and just see if there's writing in it or her little, like, scribbles from before?
Yes, she can. And we're gonna say, not only do you not have to roll, we're just gonna say everything that you wrote down in that dream is in your notebook. Any sort of notes you might have taken about what you were seeing, and I believe you said at the time you were drawing like a little rough sketch of the symbols that you saw on the wall, right? I think. Can you hear me? You cut out for a second. Oh yeah,
sorry.
you said yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all of that is there.
Okay. So I think she'd be a little bit taken back, since, obviously she had a dream, but maybe she writes it off as, I don't know, she was sleep writing or something. But then she would probably make her way to evidence, since O'Malley said what he said. She'd probably want to compare what she has written to what actually happened, since that is weird.
Okay. So you go to evidence. They know you well, so there's no, like, it's not like a thing where you'd have to sneak in there. Like, you know everybody pretty well, so it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for you to be in the evidence department. Like, no one would really question it. So you go and you look at the evidence that they find specifically for this case, and you see a notebook. And it was like O'Malley described. It's like a leather-boundish kind of notebook. Sort of looks like this, like a kind of like leathery book. And it, do you go to look in it or anything? Oh yeah, there's a piece of paper tucked into it.
Right.
Also, next to the book, you see a little trinket, and what looks like, it looks like a little figure. Like, it's got a little ring on it where it would maybe go onto a necklace or something, but it looks like a sleeping wolf. There's just like a little sleeping wolf trinket.
Interesting.
Do you go to
She'd
open up
probably-
the book or
Yeah,
anything?
open the book, to compare. Would she remember? I know you said she remembered some things from the dream. Would she remember when Doug found the book and told her what was on the paper?
Yes. And actually, if you were to take your... Actually, I'll let you do this on your own if you decide to do it. But yeah, it is a lot... it is very similar to what Doug described.
All right. I think this would probably intrigue her, obviously, because she had a dream about this whole situation and now it's coming to fruition. So, I don't know. She'd probably want to get either more information on the case, or she'd probably sneakily maybe take her phone out and try and take pictures of what's there so she can study it amongst herself later. Or try to talk to the boss to get on the case, maybe.
Okay. All right, you take a picture. Actually, you know what? I was gonna, like, feed you something to do, but instead we'll have more fun. I want you to roll against your notice skill. So Jules' notice skill is a 25, when you rolled a 47. Okay. We will say if you look in that notebook, you see some strange writing in there in a language you don't recognize. And, like, it's not even letters you recognize. It's, like, a lot of symbols you don't recognize. And you also see some sketches of like, images with, like, a circle with a bunch of shapes inside of it kind of thing. And just as you're noticing that, you hear behind you, "Lancaster!" And you turn around, and you recognize your superior officer, who you know as Chief Reuben, is standing right behind you. "In my office, Lancaster, right now."
Reuben, how are you today?
Doing great. I just need to talk to you in my office real quick.
Yep. Be right there.
Okay, so he leaves and goes to his office. Do you do any last, like, thing before you go there?
I'd probably take another glance over everything. Anything that caught my eye, I would probably try to jot down in my notebook really quick if there's anything that I wanted to look up or take pictures of. And then, as quickly as I could, I'd follow him to the office.
Okay, since you are kind of looking for things and looking for connections, I'm gonna feed you. I'm gonna give you one more opportunity to pass this roll. You're gonna can you tell us it's a thing I want to happen? Roll against your notice skill one more time.
Well,
ooh, baby. Okay. So yeah, I mean, all you kind of can get from this so far is, like, there's symbols in a book, there's some writing you don't understand, there's the note tucked into the book that's exactly as Doug described it in the dream. It's, like, written in blood and says you're next. And really the only new thing that he didn't describe is a little trinket of a sleeping wolf. So just kind of make a mental note of those things. And then I guess, do you head towards your chief's office?
yes.
Okay. So as you step into your chief's office, he's just like, "Okay, first of all, let's get this out of the way. You know I'm going to say something. You need to stop helping other people with their cases that aren't yours."
I'm not totally sure what you're referring to, but,
Cut the crap, Lancaster. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You're a really, really good detective, and you're good at what you do, but, you know, you can't do all the cases. You need to stick with the ones you're assigned to. That's just, you know, we have protocols and stuff for a reason, and please, I've asked you like 10 times, please stop doing that.
yeah, I just, what I do in my free time isn't exactly your concern, but, I'll do my best. I promise.
Look, Lancaster, Jules, as somebody who's known you for a long time, can I make a suggestion?
Sure. Yeah.
Look, I care about your well-being, and I want you to keep it together. So maybe on your free time, you should keep it free time. Don't work. You don't need to work all the time. You need to enjoy yourself sometimes.
People don't work in their free time?
I'm just saying, I'm not saying this as your boss, I'm saying this as your friend. Like, just try to enjoy yourself every once in a while. Stop working all the time. It's not good for you. It's good for your, like, you know, mental health to just, you know, take it easy every once in a while. Actually take a vacation. Actually take a break.
You see, Chief, I don't know if I agree. You know, I enjoy what I do. I enjoy my work, and I think if I want to keep at it, that's, you know, my prerogative.
You've always been stubborn and a pain. I hope you know that.
Yep.
While we're here, I'm guessing you heard about Lenny?
Lenny? Lenny who?
He looks at you, kind of like tilts his head. He's just like, look, you know exactly who I'm talking about. You know that I know that all you guys go to that private detective when you're having trouble on a case. Look, I don't completely approve of it, but I'm not gonna lie. It's
the PI. Yeah, O'Malley. He actually just told me something happened to him. That's real weird.
Yeah. Nobody knows where he went. Since it was your department, I figured you would have heard it. Oh wait, no. That went to Higgins, actually. Detective Higgins is covering that one, but yeah, I just wanted to say.
Is there any room on that case? You know, since not that it's a personal one to me or anything, but I don't know. It just struck my interest a little bit.
Look, between you and me, Jules, I'd much rather have you on the case, but you know we got to give Higgins a chance. He's a little bit newer to the department, and we got to give him a chance to, you know, try and prove himself.
But he could take over my current case, and we could get reassigned. You know.
Why do you want this case so badly?
Oh, no reason. Just you know, haven't had a missing persons case in quite some time. You know.
He looks at you, he kind of squints his eyes a little bit, like he knows you're up to something, but he knows you well enough where he's not even going to try to question you, and he's just like, how about I'll think about it? Give Higgins a little bit of a chance, and like, you know, in a day or two, if he hasn't come up with anything, maybe I'll ask for your help.
Okay, and, you know, if it helps persuade you, Lenny, maybe I'll take up, your idea of this whole free time thing if you get me on this case. But I'll leave that up to you.
He's kind of staring at you, just dead face, like, yes, I advise that you do. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about. You're free to go.
Great. Nice seeing you again, Chief.
And just as you hit the door, he says to your back, oh, and don't be late again.
Yeah, it won't happen again. Sorry.
And you can tell, like Jules has been a detective long enough. She's not, like, new to the force or anything. She knows everyone really well. The chief, like, he likes you. You're one of his favorite detectives. So you know you're not really in trouble. He's just kind of busting your chops a little bit. You know, like, he just gave you a lecture on working too hard. So, like, it's like, okay, yeah. He might even, like, advise that you come in late a little more often every once in a while.
Right.
Okay, so as you walk out of his office, I want you two... Ooh, we're doing a lot of notice rolls today. Let's say you're starting to kind of wrap up your typical day at work. And maybe you sort of walk up to the front of the precinct, and I want you to roll against your notice skill.
Alrighty.
Ooh, a 29, and your notice skill is a 25. Ooh, it's so close. Do we do it? Ooh, it didn't pass, but it was so almost passing. How can I do, like, a partial thing here? Hold on.
Points out of connecting the dots and make it 29.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, but this is more specifically a notice thing. Okay, as you're in the front of the precinct, You notice, okay, we'll just have you notice less details. You notice a man sitting in the lobby. He has a black hoodie on, and it's pulled over his head. The lighting in the room is in such a way where the shadows are, like, covering half of his face, you know, that typical spooky kind of stuff. But you can sort of make out his eyes a little bit, like, through the shadow. And he is staring at you.
Oh. Right.
As you look at him, I'll give you one more thing. You can't really kind of make out what it is because he's like across the room, but he seems to have a tattoo on his hand. We'll say his left hand. He's just kind of like staring at you. Now when you notice, do you stare back?
She'd probably like subtly stare back, so she'd hope he wouldn't exactly notice, like have her gaze at her phone or something, but kind of like look up and then look back down, just to, you know, make sure that he is staring at her.
Okay, so I'm just gonna tell everybody here, just so they don't think I'm sort of like bootlegging this. I just rolled a 9. I'm just saying that. So I just rolled a 9 as this guy. So we will say you're trying hard to kind of be like low-key looking back at him, but the second you look back at him, he notices you notice him, and he stands up and walks out the front door of the precinct. Do you do anything? Do you like follow him, or do you just kind of go, that was weird?
I think she'd probably be I want to follow him, but she would be shaken up still from the dream situation and, you know, being late to work and everything. So she'd probably just brush it off and be like, oh, that was strange. And
yeah, she's like, that was weird, but today's not the day to pursue
precisely.
that. Okay, so you finish up your day at work. As you get home, does anything worth mentioning happen between when you get off of work and when you might be getting ready to go to sleep?
She'd definitely shower. This would probably be one of the nights when she was late. She probably didn't grab breakfast, so maybe a Chinese takeout sort of night, shower, and then, I don't know, thinking more, I guess, on the dream, and maybe she goes back through those pictures from before since it was the same book and everything. Would she remember anyone's names from the dream, like Doug Diggums, for example, or like Jacob or whoever?
Yeah, actually, you rolled pretty decently, so you would remember their names, I suppose. Actually, you know what? Because you didn't roll, like, amazingly, like, if you rolled really well, would say, because I said, like, you remember the dream, but you don't remember details. You don't remember their names, but you remember faces, for sure. So we'll say you don't remember Doug Diggums, the name, but you remember his dumb face and his big dumb mustache. And his shirt that has, like, a, you know...
Would she happen to remember his, like, profession, though, since...
Yeah, we'll say you remember that.
Annoyed her.
Yeah, so you remember he's annoying, you remember something about ghost hunting. We'll just say you don't remember his name specifically, though. You don't remember Doug Diggums, but you remember everything about him. You remember this annoying, weird kind of guy. So she eats Chinese takeout. This is not an important question. I'm just curious. Does she eat with chopsticks, or is she one of those people who eats Chinese food with like a fork? Or is she one of those people who thinks like, oh, I'm gonna be cool and use chopsticks?
Nah, she doesn't have time to learn how to use chopsticks. She's 100% eating them with a fork.
Awesome. All right, so we will say this scene will fade out with Jules sitting on her couch eating Chinese food with a fork. I see there's a message in the Awakening chat, but if I go and check it, it's going to mess up the cameras. Mitch is next. Is Mitch not ready? Is Mitch here?
Hi.
Okay, we do have a Mitch. Okay, so we fade out on Jules. And hold on, wrong thing. Yes, we fade out on Jules and fade in on Scotty.
Hello.
So we have Scotty. Scotty wakes up in his bed, similar to all of the other characters, after this very strange dream that he just had. Could you roll for me, Mitch? We're all, again, rolling against Scotty's mind stat to see if he remembers this dream. Ooh, 54? Your mind is 60. Okay, you probably remember a little bit less than Jules did. I don't know if you were here when I described that. So you remember the dream, but similar to what I explained before, you don't remember all of everybody's names and stuff, but you remember details like you were in an elevator, some weird stuff happened, you might have heard some spooky kid laughter, there was a dead body.
There's random people.
Yeah, in fact, I wish I kind of thought about this with the other characters too, but we'll say that you might remember a lot of chunks of the dream, but you don't necessarily remember the timeline. Like, so you remember this part happened, but you remember this part happened.
It's all just kind of all over the place.
Yeah, it's all kind of all over in the place in your memory. Like,
but you don't know which one came first.
Yeah, did the elevator happen first, and then we saw the body, or did we hear the kids' laughter and then saw the body, and then we were in the elevator, and then the thing with the stairs? When did that happen? Yeah, so you kind of remember everything.
Yeah.
Much like the other characters, could you describe to us what Scotty's place looks like?
Yeah, I got a good amount of what Scotty's place looks like. So we're gonna say that Scotty lives in an apartment building, kind of like in a really bad part of town. You know, building's a bit roughed up, it's mainly made out of brick with some ivy growing on the outside of the walls. So it's a bit old, but a bit run down, but it's something at least. His room's a bit small, but just big enough for a bed. And in the corner of the room, he has a small record player with a few albums sitting near it. He's mainly got Frank Sinatra, Mozart, Beethoven, and a few more classical albums near it. But sitting on top of the record player is a small candle. The candle is a white tea and jasmine flavored candle that is unlit since the night before. So It's been used, but it's not currently on.
Yeah, it's not currently lit.
I would say that the walls in the room are a bit old. It's a little run down too. It's white and gold wallpaper it's starting to like slowly peel off. Like you can see in the corners of the room, it's slightly starting to tear. But the room is actually very neat. There's nothing on the floor. There's no dishes, no food. The carpet is completely clean. And then past the door is one more room in the apartment. It's a small kitchen with a really small couch in the living room, but it's just enough to where he could lay on it with his feet kind of like dangling over the edge if needed. And there's no TV since there's no room.
Okay, so he has like, I guess, like, what do they call those? Like a love seat kind of thing, where it's not like a three-person couch. It's like a two-seater couch, pretty much.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's it. I mean, it's not the best, but you know, it's enough to live on.
All right, yeah, and it sounds like you know, even though the place is sounds like of more humble means, like Scotty takes care of it, keeps things nice. Sounds like he kind of keeps things pretty nice. And what would a typical Scotty morning be like, especially after this weird dream that you kind of remember in pieces?
He'd probably be a bit confused. Maybe not really understanding what had happened in that dream, but maybe trying to like shrug it off, not really thinking about it too much. He'd probably wake up, maybe make like a small thing of tea. I would say green tea, you know, first thing he makes in the morning.
Okay.
From there, he might just lay on his couch and just try to relax. Maybe go back into his room if needed. Maybe sit on the bed and maybe turn on the record player.
Okay. He turns on the record player. Some classical music starts playing a little bit. I'm assuming he kind of like would do this to, you know, maybe sort of relax a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So he's trying to relax. You said you're kind of sitting on the couch, maybe, right? Just kind of like laying down, relaxing.
just relaxing, feeling it out.
Okay, and as you were hanging out, relaxing, listening to classical music, you hear a vibration on your phone. You look, do you look down at it or do you ignore it?
Nah, I guess I'll look at it.
All right, you look at it and it says Jay is calling you.
All right, I guess I'll answer this.
Okay, so you.
Hello?
All right, so you answer it.
Hey, Jacob, it's Jay, buddy. How you doing, man?
Hey Jay. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while, man. How you been? How's everything going?
Everything's going fine, I guess. You know, just woke up, so just starting to get the morning started.
Oh, that's good to hear, man. You know, I know this phone call's kind of out of nowhere. I haven't talked to you in a while, but you know, I just wanted to check on you, buddy, and see how you doing. It's been a while, and you know, with everything that happened and stuff, you know, we didn't really get a chance to talk there for a while.
Yeah, I mean, everything's a bit better now. You know, try to move past all that stuff.
Oh no, yeah, no, that's good, man. That's good. I'm glad to hear you're doing really well. Susan says hello. By the way, you know, she says hello. She sends her best. And we'll just say to the audience, and I guess to you, you know that Susan doesn't really like you that much, and Jay is probably saying this just to be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we have kids now. I don't know if I told you that. We got 2 kids. It's a son and a daughter. It's it'd be really really cool for you to meet them one day.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe when I have time, I'll try and stop by.
Oh no, don't do that. I get it. Again, you know, I'm really glad to hear you're doing well after you know everything. You know, I know this is a weird topic, but if you ever want to you know, if you ever want to talk about that, you know, just you know, I'm here for you, man. Like, we've been friends for a really long time. You can talk to me about that stuff if you really want to.
Yeah, but well, I mean, I guess it's starting to get late, Jay. So I should probably start doing stuff.
Yeah, no. I totally understand. I get it. Like, but just know, man. Like, we're old friends. I'm here for you, buddy. Yeah, I'll, you know, stay in touch. Don't be a stranger. You know, maybe we can get together soon.
Yeah. Hope the kids are doing well, and hope the wife is doing well as well.
Oh yeah, thank you. I'll tell her you said hello, and it's good to talk to you, man. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, we'll do. Same to you.
Okay.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
And Scotty hangs up the phone. Probably a little, like, annoyed. You can kind of tell, like, it was maybe a conversation he didn't really feel like having. But, yeah, kind of continues. The piano music is, you know, still playing in the background. Are you doing anything else today? What else would Scotty do on, like, a typical day?
On a normal day? Well, I'd say maybe he'd go shopping, maybe trying to make some food. Maybe the pantry's running a bit low. Other than that, I mean, he probably wouldn't do too much. He'd maybe try looking into his records, maybe cleaning off a few and fixing them up if they're starting to get damaged. Looking into his record player.
Okay.
Maybe just cleaning up the house too, if anything needs to be cleaned.
Okay. I'm going to. So you said you went shopping at some point, right? Like grocery shopping.
Yeah.
I am going to ask you to roll against your notice skill also. And depending on how you roll, I'll tell you what it's for.
Okay.
Ooh, 47. Okay, yeah, you don't notice anything. You go to the grocery store, everything's normal. You get your groceries, you come home, you cook some food. It's a pretty, like, pretty quiet, chill day for Scotty, I'd say, right? Aside from the phone call, like, he just kind of took it easy, I suppose?
Yeah, just kind of relaxed it out, you know.
Anything else?
He maybe tried to, like, piece the dream together a bit. Maybe it was still bothering him in the back of his head that he just couldn't remember what came when and what was going on, but maybe he'll try to ignore it.
If you'd like, you can roll against your memory skill, where, I mean, we'll say that when you first woke up, you rolled to see how much you remember. But now that you're sitting there actively trying to remember, I'll let you roll against the skill to see if you can kind of piece it together a little bit. Ooh, 83. Okay, yeah, it's all still a mess in your head. You're just like an elevator and like a dark sky and a dead body in a book and like...
Yeah, it's all just weird.
What might stick out to you is that image of Doug and Jacob like staring at you with just this sinister like look. Like that moment might kind of stick out to you and maybe leave a little bit of a chill in your runs a chill up your spine. So anything else of consequence that kind of, Doug does?
Well, maybe if he wants, if it's starting to get late, maybe he could light that candle and try to meditate before going back to sleep.
Okay. That's actually a good idea. How about for fun? Okay. Oh man, I'm coughing. I need like water, but we're almost gonna take a break here. For fun, roll against your meditation skill.
Okay.
Ooh, a 97. Okay, so I guess as you're meditating, we'll say that for a lot of people who don't know about meditation, the main goal is usually to completely clear your mind. And usually one of the ways you do that is like breathing exercises, where you can't completely clear your mind because you're focusing on breathing, but you try to just focus on breathing so that everything else would go away, goes away. That's kind of like how people practice meditation. But we will say that no matter how you try tonight, this is one of those nights you just can't calm your brain down. You keep getting images popping up in your head of Doug and Jacob, whose names you don't remember. You just remember that you just have an image of these two guys staring at you all evil-like. You have an image of a body. Did you go into one of the rooms with the symbols on the wall?
I did.
Yeah, that image probably like pops up, but it's all kind of blurry and all like mixing together. And we will say, just for time's sake, that all of our characters went through their day, and actually, you guys can unmute if you want. Does anybody try to do anything crazy, like not go to sleep, or is everybody just kind of go to sleep like they normally would?
I keep my dream journal at the ready.
You keep your dream journal at the ready, but you still go to sleep?
Yep.
I think I would just go to bed, honestly.
Okay. I just wanted to see if any of you guys were going to try to pull something against me. So all of our characters go to sleep. Let's actually really quickly ask, what time would everybody roughly go to sleep?
Like
Jules going to bed early that night, so like a solid maybe 9-10 p.m.
Okay.
I think I would go to bed at like around 1 or 2 a.m. after looking at all the social media that I have.
Yeah, you just go down like a social media hole, and next thing you know, you look at your phone, it's like, oh, it's 1 a.m., I should probably go to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
After his like meditation, what about Scott, do you think?
I'd say around 8 o'clock.
Okay, nice and early. All right. So all of our characters fall asleep at different points of time, but as each character falls asleep, we will say that is where we're taking our first break.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh,
They're back. Okay, so that was the first half of tonight's. We actually went a little later, so the second half will probably be a little shorter, but that's okay. So we got a little bit of a glimpse of each character's day after this weird dream they had, and we are now at the point where everybody just went to sleep again. So I guess we will find out what happens in the spooky second half.
All right.
Yay.
So yeah, now's a good time to take a break. If anybody needs to run to the bathroom, grab a drink, grab a snack. If you do all of those things, make sure you wash your hands before you grab the drink and the snack, because just, all that stuff. It's always good to get up and stretch your legs as well. And yeah, everybody, we're gonna take a break. Does anybody have anything to say here? I actually have something to say. I want to thank all of these individuals here for just sitting there while everybody did their individual scenes.
She wasn't sitting here. She wasn't.
Actually, what's funny is
definitely walked away a bit.
I definitely sat here the whole time.
Like, I
didn't move.
On me.
Mitch covered his own camera, and Jakey covered his own camera, so I can't see them. But because of the way we got the camera set up for Kayla and Xylo, they can't black out their own camera without it blacking out both of them. So I had to do it myself. So I can see, as we're doing all these scenes, I can see Kayla and Xylo there the whole time. And every single time I glance over at Discord, like, she's messing with Xylo. Yeah. She's, like, shoving something in his face or, like...
Oh, yeah, I almost cracked a little bit when I was, like, doing my interview. I was like, you're giving him something to eat or whatever, I don't know, on his mouth or whatever.
It was an ice cube.
Yeah, I was like, what is that? I was like,
Yep.
I also
make sure you all were you had some quality entertainment
while they're trying to roleplay.
Yep.
I also hope I did a little bit better at explaining what these roles are for as you guys are doing them. I'm going to try to be a little more conscious about that so that the players and the viewers aren't, like, lost. Some of them I'm going to keep as cheeky secret roles and stuff, but I'm going to try to, like, explain more just so everybody can follow along for the viewers and for the players. And you can actually kind of tell I'm, like, kind of shiny right now because I'm sweating because it is so hot right here. So I am going to, we're going to take a quick little break. I'm going to turn on my air conditioner and grab a drink. And yeah, we will be back in about 5 minutes. Yay. Hold on, I gotta get to the right screen. Hold on. Just wait. Hold on, it's happening. Okay. Oops, wrong screen. We're back. Hi, everybody. Oh, wait, hold on. And your cameras are still good. Yay. All right, well, actually, we'll move. Wait, I gotta like lower this. I just clicked on the wrong thing. We'll grab Jules.
Oh, God.
Move her down like a little bit. That is terrifying. Get your weirdo Peach away from us.
What do you mean? They're like the best. They're my peaches, all right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we come back, and we are in a diner.
Ooh.
And all four of you are seated at a table together. You probably all kind of look around. You don't really know exactly how you got here, but you're all seated at a table together. And, we will say, excuse me, I need to word this pretty specifically. We will say that you remember all the events from the last stream. We'll say it that way. You remember the events. We are going to have each of you roll. All the characters have skills, as people know. And I believe, hopefully I'm right, every character has a notice skill. Correct? Some sort of notice skill?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody's is called notice. I think Jacob's is called, I think you renamed it to Photographer's Eye.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so I want everybody to roll, all four of you, and we are rolling against our notice skills. Okay, Kayla's notice skill is a 30. Ooh, oh, Jakey got a 7. Okay. Xylo got a 60, and Mitch got that. Okay. Everybody but Jacob, you remember all the events. You remember the elevator? I can't stop coughing. Oh, man. You remember the elevator, you remember the body, you remember the office building, you kind of remember everything that happened. But to you, you don't remember them as a dream. They were just a thing that, like, happened. Jakey?
Mm-hmm.
Jacob knows he's dreaming right now. You're the only one who knows, like, wait a second. This is a dream. Like, I'm in a dream right now. So we're just going to say that much. You were all sitting at a diner. We will say, I won't even make you guys roll for this. You look around, and it is a rundown diner. The towns
Reminds me of home.
The towns that each of you live in. I mean, we don't even know if you guys live in the same place yet, but like, have you lived in the place that you've lived for a while? I'm gonna ask that to each of you.
I'd say probably yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Nope.
For like a year or two for me.
Okay, so that's long enough. So we'll say everybody but Scotty, you recognize this diner. You've been here before. This is the diner in your town. The only difference is it looks about 50 more years run down than what you're used to seeing. Everything's kind of old and dirty. If there's any sort of tiling on the wall, half the tiles are cracked and kind of peeling. The lighting is really like dim and weird and kind of spooky. As you look around, there's a couple other people in the diner, and we all have a really unsettling feeling about them. Like, if you look at anybody, they just kind of have this dead stare in their eyes. And you're all sitting at a table, and you have menus in front of you. And just remember, Jacob, you know you're dreaming. Just keep that in mind. And there's a waitress looking down at you, just like, look, are y'all ready to order yet? Or, what's going on here?
Yeah, of course we're ready to order. Y'all ready to order?
I'll just have a cup of coffee, please.
Coffee.
I'll just take a tea with honey and sugar, please.
Okay, coffee, tea with honey and sugar. Anybody else?
Yeah, could I also get a cup of coffee? But could I get that with some mozzarella sticks?
Oh, okay. And you, sir? Looks over at Jacob.
Just coffee as well.
Okay. 2 coffees, 3 coffees, mozzarella sticks, tea with honey, and okay. And as you look at this woman, you will notice she is in your sort of your stereotypical like diner waitress uniform. You guys know what I'm talking about, like that. You know, she's got kind of like those colors on. She's got like an apron on. She probably has a name tag. The name tag says Edna. But you will notice that her clothes look really, really old. And when you look at her eyes as she speaks to you, her eyes are super bloodshot. And when she kind of smiles at you after taking your order, you'll notice all of her teeth are rotted in her mouth. And her hair is kind of like unkempt. It's like underneath like one of those things that like waitresses will wear sometimes, like a little like kind of head thing. But she's freaking spooky looking. And she smiles at you and says, "We'll be right back," and walks away and leaves you at the table. We'll say, as I said, you remember the events, but Jacob is the only one who knows that this is a dream. You maybe don't know that those events were a dream, but you guys all remember each other. And we will say, Kayla, you remember Doug's name. Earlier when you were awake, you did not, but now that he's here sitting in front of you, all the events of last night are pretty clear in all your guys' memories, and you guys are just, like, stuck here looking at each other.
Well, certainly, I suppose good to see you all again.
Mozzarella sticks? Really?
This place has some high-quality mozzarella sticks. You haven't had them before?
Look like they have a high-quality anything, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it looks a little different than last time I was here.
Yeah, this place looks a little more rundown than I remember.
I didn't want to say nothing, but did you see our waitress?
Yeah, she looks more rundown than the building.
Well, that's just offensive. Sometimes people are just down on their luck and they can't quite, live up to the same standards of everyone else. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, she looked like a zombie, so I don't know.
Okay, so, Jacob, are you doing anything? Knowing that this is a dream, or are you just kind of keeping that to yourself right now?
Yeah, I'm just like listening all that, but like it's not real. So in my mind, I'm just like, yeah. As a, like, I don't really like, like the teeth, like that looks scary, but it doesn't like really like bother me as much because I know that it's a dream. So it's probably nothing real in my head, I guess.
Okay. Anybody else do anything or say anything to each other?
Doug probably looks around at everyone like, y'all remember when we were back at the private investigator's office? Y'all remember looking outside the windows at all?
Everything was pretty torn down in the city.
A lot like this.
Right.
Yeah, when you look out the window... hold on one second. Let me just see something. Not only do you notice it's all dark out and everything, but it is actually raining. It's kind of storming out tonight. Or today, or whatever time it is.
Great. Well, I guess tea fits on a rainy day.
I mean, if you say so, I don't see the correlation whatsoever, but hey, you do you.
Okay, so as you guys are kind of talking to each other, Edna returns with a tray, and, oh man, how am I gonna describe this? The coffee, it looks like tar. It is so thick and gross. The tea that she gives you doesn't look like tea. It might even be blood in a cup. She puts down a plate in front of Doug, and the food is all moldy and disgusting and gross. There's like worms crawling through it and stuff. The lemon that she brought for the tea is like all brown and like rotted. And she's looking at you with her same creepy smile with rotted teeth as if nothing is wrong. And she's like, "Here you go, hon." And puts all these things down in front of you.
I don't remember ordering from the cemetery.
Yeah, I'm not gonna drink this.
I'm sorry, is something wrong?
I'm just not thirsty anymore.
I don't think I ordered red tea, to be honest.
And you don't see anything strange or different about the coffee and mozzarella sticks, do you?
No, it looks fine to me. I mean, we've never really had any complaints, dear.
All right.
Okay.
Good to know. I go to break open a mozzarella stick, see what's inside.
It open.
I'm gonna let you roleplay this, Xylo, because you just you just heard my description. What do you think it looks like inside the mozzarella stick?
Crack it open and probably a bunch of worms and stuff come crawling out or something.
Oh my god.
Yep.
And then he just drops it on the plate. Wipes his hands on his jeans.
We're gonna say also at this moment, this is probably I think this is the first time this has happened. Jacob's fear stimulus is triggered right now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
So basically what that means, just so the chat knows, Jacob's character is freaked out right now because we just hit the thing that scares Jacob, which is bugs. Jacob hates bugs. They scare him, they freak him out. So as long as Jakey, the person playing Jacob, as long as Jakey anything he decides to do right now, as long as it makes sense with something that somebody would do when they're scared, he gets like a buff almost. So he will roll to take certain actions. If he rolls badly, because his stimulus is activated right now, he can either A, re-roll. So if he rolls badly, he has a chance to do it again. Similar to the Star Wars thing, like when we do the Star Wars D&D, if somebody rolls badly, they can use a force point to re-roll to see if they can try to do better. It's similar to that. Or he has the option of flipping the numbers around. So say he rolls a 91. He can change that to a 19, which is obviously a much, much better roll. So as long as Jakey is deciding to do something that a scared person would do, he gets that sort of bonus on those rolls. Just wanted to explain that for everybody. So your fear stimulus is activated. Everybody's seeing this gross food on the table. The waitress is still kind of looking at you. She could tell you're not like happy with the food, obviously. And she says like, somebody's gonna pay for this, right? I mean, someone has to pay for this food.
Well, I don't know if we intended to order anything today.
But you did order. You have to.
Out of curiosity, I know they normally don't allow you to do this sort of thing, but could you try one of the mozzarella sticks?
No, I don't think we need to do more of that.
I just want to check.
You know what? I can pay. I can pay, and I'm gonna leave.
Are you
That's
sure?
what I wanted. Yes.
Yeah, let the fancy boy play.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it's like, you know, you guys ordered the food. You better pay. You're gonna pay. You will all pay.
Covered, Edna. Thank you.
Okay, Jacob, if you want to pay this woman, we can
Yeah,
on our way.
sure. Take my wallet. It's a dream in my mind, but I will just down the cash and I will leave.
Okay,
Like,
so Jake,
leave the table.
Jacob stands
Yeah,
up and leaves. Does anybody follow him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd follow.
I jump over a cockroach on my way out.
Hold on. Ooh, yeah, one scuttles across the floor, and it's a big, ugly cockroach.
Sure is.
Just so you guys know, the reason it's a big, ugly cockroach, I'm gonna stop and explain game mechanics here again. I rolled a 77. The way I was thinking about that in my head is if I roll below a 50, they don't see a cockroach. If I roll above a 50, they do see a cockroach. So since it was a failing roll and they do see a cockroach, it's also a 77. Anytime you get double digits, like 77, 66, 88, anything like that, it's supposed to be a more dramatic outcome. So if you get a passing roll, but it's a double digit, you're supposed to have a more dramatic success. If you fail, you're supposed to have a more dramatic failure. So that's why it's such a big cockroach, because not only did you fail, it was a 77. So you failed with like a crit, kind of in a way. Big, ugly cockroach.
Can I step on it?
Yes, you can. Let me, let's see something. Let me look at your skills, quick. Let's have you roll against, I guess against your general athletics.
Okay.
Okay, you rolled a 56, your athletics skill is a 30, so we are gonna say that you go to step on it, but you miss it.
Dang it.
Oh boy.
And then we will also say, as you guys start to walk out the door, you hear the waitress say, "We'll see you again. See you all again soon."
Bye, Edna.
And you guys step out into the rain. Hooray! So you will all recognize this city, we will say. Not only does it look like the city that you saw in the dream before, the night before, it's the city you live in. You all recognize this place. It looks like a rundown, dystopian, post-apocalyptic version of your home city where you live. We said in the first episode, it's not the biggest city in the world, so there's not a lot of office buildings. There's a couple. But you guys can see the office building that you were in the night before, sort of across town, maybe a couple blocks away. What do you guys do once you step out of the diner?
I look around. Is my vehicle anywhere?
No, there's no vehicles. In fact, the only vehicles you see are like rusted out cars that look like they were abandoned in the middle of the road, and like weeds and stuff have grown through them, sort of thing. So it looks like they've been there for years and they're not going anywhere.
I'll probably just like get outside and just like calm myself down, because I've gone through some stuff inside, seen some worms and cockroaches. So I'm just like kind of just like catching my breath a little bit, just like okay. I don't really care like what's really outside. I just like at least like I need to make sure like there's no bugs around now, and I'm clear for the moment.
Okay. What could we... You know what? I'm going to have you roll against your mind skill right now. Real quick. So if you could roll for me, Jakey.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Jakey's, or Jacob, the character, his mind skill is 50, and you just rolled a 40. So let's say, like, as soon as you got away from those bugs, and you got away from it, you got out of the diner, you're, like, calming down a little bit. It's not, like, it's not sticking with you that badly. You're like, okay, that was gross, that sucked, but okay, I think I'm okay now. Do you guys have any kind of conversation? Does anybody say anything?
Doug does.
Okay, what does Doug say?
So what do y'all think happened to the town? Anyone
know,
have
I don't-
any theories? Do we
I
ever get back to the
remember-
DeLorean elevator?
Wasn't that building
I
like
don't know.
nearby?
You can go back and check. But what if we get back in it? We go like another 1,000 years into the future.
We're not going back to that
no.
elevator, that's for sure.
I mean, we don't even know if the guy's still there. If I could go find that book, maybe there's answers in the book we could use. I don't know.
The
Sure,
book that said
Lenny's
you were
having a
next
great
written
time.
in blood?
Okay, so probably maybe not the best idea. We just need to think of something.
I mean, I just had blood in my tea, so, you know, seems like blood's a very valuable thing around here.
This might be a weird thing to try to roleplay, but I'm going to ask you to do your best, Kayla. The whole thing that happened at the police precinct, where, you know, you saw the book, you saw the one that Doug, like, mentioned and all that stuff, and making the connection that it was Doug's book. You remember that, but your character is still not making the distinction between dream and what happened outside of the dream. So as far as you're concerned, that just happened. So, like, you as your character know, like, Lenny Colworth is missing. You know that you saw him dead in his office building. You know that Doug found a book when you guys were in that office building, but you also know when you were at work, they had that same kind of book that sounded exactly like what Doug, you know, described. But as I said, you just can't make the distinction between dream and reality. But aside from that, you kind of remember everything from your day. And I'm sort of like justifying it in the way like do you remember your dreams? You ever have like real life stuff just creep into your dreams?
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of like that. And when you're in the dream, you can't really distinguish, like, oh, that's the thing that happened outside a dream, unless you were, like, lucid dreaming right now. And right now, Jacob is the only one who knows that he is dreaming. Knows that this is not real and that this is a dream. So we'll just, you know, take that as it is. I just wanted to clarify that before you guys get into any kind of conversations about anything like that. I just want to tell you what Jules would know. So you guys were talking about, or I guess Doug makes the suggestion to maybe go back towards the building, or at least questioning it. Jules is like, we're not going back to that building or that elevator.
Knowing what she'd know too, I think she'd probably be like, you know, the police were already there. Like, all the evidence is gone anyway. There's no point to go back.
Does she know? Are you just saying that as something she would know, or does she say this to the other characters?
She would probably add that to her argument not to go back. Number one, obviously, we have that experience. Don't really want to go back there. Number two, the police have already, you know, gathered up everything anyway. There's no reason for us to go back. The book's not even there anymore, so.
Okay. I'm not going to force a thing to happen, but we're going to give a chance for something to happen. Can you roll against your connecting the dots skill, Jules?
Sure.
Ooh, you had to roll well, didn't you? Okay, I will let you decide, obviously, how to roleplay this, how you will. But even though you're telling these guys, like, we're not going back there, there's no point, like, the police already got the stuff, somewhere in the back of your mind, you have this thought, like, but maybe at that office is the only... It might be the only, like, we might have missed something. It might be the only, like, way to figure out what is even going on right now.
Doug's a really smart, talented guy. Talking about.
And man, is that guy Doug handsome.
So handsome.
I love his mustache.
Makes me swoon every time he walks by.
Stop!
So I will let you decide whether or not you change your mind, but you definitely at least have the thought. Well, like, okay, it's probably a stupid idea to go back there. But at the same time, it might be the only place where we can get any kind of answers as to what the heck is going on here.
Yeah, and since she wanted to be on the case anyway, she might see that as a good opportunity to go back and get evidence for herself that everyone else might have missed, since, you know, she wasn't the detective assigned to it. So, maybe she will change her mind and she'll want to go back.
Okay, how do you think this would play out with the other people? Like, one second you're just like, look, it's a bad idea to go back there. The cops already, like, what do the other characters see as far as you kind of flipping your opinion on that?
So maybe she could just be, like, weighing the pros and cons. So I just had this whole experience and didn't really love that, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really want to get trapped in an elevator again. But, you know, some weird stuff was happening. I really want to get some evidence for myself about this whole case thing, because, you know.
I mean, the way I see it, the weird stuff that happened on the elevator is very small potatoes compared to all this. No one else thinks this is all a little weird?
It's definitely weird.
It's a lot of weird.
I mean, the town was pretty awful, but I don't think it was this awful.
Certainly not.
So what, we're
So
flip-flopping our idea now?
I guess we know what we have to do. I guess
think
so.
my idea was pretty sound.
I think it was, there's some pros and cons, but I suppose it's not the worst possible idea. I guess
I'm just a little bit confused. I don't know why we are talking like about where they're going. It's not really real anything, right?
You didn't drink the tea. You didn't drink that coffee, did you?
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Jacob?
I mean, isn't this... I mean, I think what is weird here is just like, why are we all together in this... I mean, aren't we just... Isn't this like, you know, a dream? Or something?
You know, I understand everyone was put here on this world for a reason, but what are you saying?
This is not real, right? You know, like, none of you think that this is actually, like...
I mean...
It's
we can figure out if it's real really quick if you want me to.
I'm just a little curious how you intend to clarify that situation, Scotty.
I don't know. I just...
So my idea, Mev, is that I kick Jacob in the shin.
Okay.
Not hard, but I just kick him enough to where it hurts.
Okay. I want you to roll your general athletics. I guess that's the best one. Let me just see if you have a better skill.
Third one, or even the fifth one could work.
Oh yeah. Actually, maybe a third one. We'll go third one.
Okay.
Yeah, that one fits the best, I think. We're having him roll against his strength skill. Did you just roll an 86?
Maybe.
Okay.
I have no luck in this.
So, interestingly enough, Jacob, I think it's because you know you're dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. It doesn't hurt. You know, you see him kick you. You see it happen. You feel it, but it's not really pain. It's just like you just kind of feel it. So, Scotty, you would probably see. Actually, I mean, you can roleplay it how you want, Jakey. Like, how would you react?
I mean, I didn't feel anything, Scotty. Like I felt like, I mean, maybe a little touch, but it didn't hurt. So, I mean, you can try it again, but I think right now I'm lying in bed and maybe just a blanket or something that hit me. This is like not real. This is a dream, and it's just weird somehow. Like, I felt like we're somehow weirdly having the same dream, which is kind of weird, but this is not real, guys.
Okay,
if it was a dream, why would we all be here? You don't even know me.
Again.
Well, we could all be figments of each other's imagination.
Hey, we'll just appear and appear again.
So, really quick, I hate to cut you guys off, because I do want you to keep going with the conversation, but this has to time correctly. As Jacob says, this is a dream, as he says those words, I want everybody but Jakey to roll. And we are once again rolling against your notice skills. 12. 67. Why? 64. Okay.
Mr. No Dudes.
Doug Diggums.
No.
Yes, sir.
You think Jakey actually might be right. This might be a dream. This is like, it's got, I mean, it's really the only logical explanation. And as he says those words, this is a dream, you kind of feel it. You're like, wait, I think he's right. We're in a dream right now.
Yeah, it makes sense. Because I had everything just a moment before. But then today, we're here again. It's just a dream that's going on. That makes sense.
All right.
So now you agree?
I don't know, only one way to find out. Can I kick him in the shin?
Yeah, you can. Do you have any kind of strength skill?
Probably not.
Would it be your
situations?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could go against general
athletics. I don't think we're going as far as the other one yet.
We just go in a circle and kick everyone in the shin.
We're just having a shin kick. Exactly. And yeah, it's kind of weird, Scotty. You actually might understand now why you didn't get that much of a reaction from Jacob, because when Doug goes to kick you, you don't really feel anything. I mean, you don't feel pain. You feel something, like you feel it touch you, and you watch him kick you, so you see it happen, and you know what happened, but it doesn't hurt. There's no pain involved.
Whoa. Wow, so we're in a dream. We can control where to... You do me next. Do me next. Someone do me next.
Does anybody want to kick Doug in the shin?
Can I punch him in the face?
Police lady?
Can I please punch him in the face?
If you really want to, you can.
Absolutely. I mean, he just asked for it.
He did invite it. So we will say...
The circle of hitting people.
You were gonna roll, I guess, also against your general athletics skill.
This is crazy, guys. No one's getting hurt at all.
And as you get punched in the face, she knocks you to the ground. And it hurts a lot. You feel like you just got punched in the face.
Alright. It's a weird dream. It's a weird dream. Okay.
Looks like the detective's got a right hook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
Weird.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm so glad that happened and rolled that way.
Not a normal dream. Not a normal dream.
Huh.
Wait, how does it prove it's a dream or not anyway? I forget.
Well, we can feel pain, or at least some pain.
Maybe you two can't feel pain, but I can. Should we have you hit one of them next? No.
We can just stop hitting each other. Weren't we, heading to the PI's building?
Yeah. But, I mean, what's the point now? We're just dreaming.
I mean, you two seem to think it's a dream, but I still want to get that evidence, so y'all can either come with me or not.
As strange as it sounds, I also agree with her. Whether this be a dream or not, there might actually be something there.
I mean, I guess so. I mean, since it's a dream, it doesn't really matter how it goes, I guess. So,
I guess I'm a little curious to see more.
Okay. As I described earlier, there's not that many office buildings in this city. It's a small city, so you guys can clearly see the office building that you were at. You all recognize it. Sort of poking up above some buildings. It looks like it's maybe about 2 or 3 blocks away from you guys. And you all start, sort of heading in that direction?
Alrighty.
Doug's getting distracted on all the little weird things he sees. All the every single broken window and everything, and just taking looks in everywhere.
Okay, so as you're walking, I want everybody, all 4 of you, to roll against your struggle skill.
Okay.
Ow.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh
my god. Okay, that is our first 100. I was about to say Jakey was struggling, but oh man.
My face from the punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black eye foreman.
Jeez. Okay, we will say all of you. Kayla and Mitch, as you guys start to walk, you feel a little, like, heavy. Like you're dragging. It's really, it's kind of hard to move a little bit. You're not frozen in place. You just don't feel like you have that much energy. Jacob, you were, the rest of the party might notice you're kind of lagging behind. Even though it's a dream, even though you know it's a dream, you seem to have a hard time, like, controlling it and stuff, and you are getting one of those, like, frustration dream kind of things where you, like, can't really move as effectively as you want to, and you might even be so weighed down that you have trouble standing up. And Doug, Doug, Doug Diggums is gonna take about 3 or 4 steps, get really, really lightheaded, and pass out. Just collapse on the ground.
Yep.
And you guys might notice when you look at him. Does anybody notice him fall, by the way? Or are you guys just walking doing your own thing?
Should we roll for that?
Yeah.
If we notice?
Yeah, actually, you might as well notice. A good chance for a roll. Roll against your notice skill.
Nope.
No, you don't. Okay, yeah, you definitely don't notice.
Did I roll?
Yeah, roll.
Oh.
Okay, you definitely, you notice. Let me see Scotty's real quick. Ooh, Scotty wouldn't notice. Okay, we'll say this, though. Because I don't want you guys to just, like, eventually you would probably notice that it's just you two walking.
Yeah.
Flanking on the ground.
As you're struggling, Jacob, you kind of glance over and you see Doug pass out. You don't have to lean anymore, by the way, Xylo. I got you blacked out if you want. Unless you're just really role-playing right now.
It really was.
I commit.
Okay. And in that case, I'll bring your camera back. Xylo's going to be passed out. No,
he's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, so we will say you notice it, Jacob, as you're sort of struggling. Jules and Scotty, you're feeling kind of tired. Maybe that's why you're a little bit distracted. As I said, you don't really have much energy. But you maybe make it about 50, 60 feet, I'd say, before you each look back and forth and notice that it's just the two of you.
Where are the others?
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to them.
Well, we should probably find them. Would we be able to turn around and, like, see them, or is that, like, too
Yeah,
far away
I'd say with the rolls that they gave. Well, first of all, as I said, you made it only maybe about 50, 60 feet. And we'll say you didn't take any, like, turns or anything. Like, it was down, like, a straight road. There's some, like you know, beat up old cars and stuff in the road. But you can still see down the road pretty well. And what you guys would see when you look back, you would probably see Jacob maybe, like, down on one knee, even, because he's having a real tough time walking. It's weird, too, because Jakey's roll was a 99, which is a failure, but because it's a double digit and a 9-9, it needs to be, like, a dramatically bad, too. So it's almost as bad as that 100. But, yeah, you will see Jacob sort of struggling on one knee, and you will see Doug unconscious on the ground.
Alright, at this point, I still think this is, like, semi-real, so I would go back and check on them.
Okay, do you say anything to Jacob? Who would you run up to first, Jacob or Doug?
Whoever's closer, probably.
We'll say Jacob, because he was, like, he was doing a little
bit.
Yeah, a little bit closer, maybe, like, 6 or 7 steps ahead of Doug.
Okay.
Do you glance over at Doug at all when you run up to Jacob? Like, obviously you're...
Yeah.
You will notice...
I'm probably just, like, trying to run up to both of them. Like, are you guys okay? What's going on?
Okay, so we'll say when Doug passed out, he is on his back. He's lying on his back, and you will notice blood coming out of his nose.
Oh, at that point, I think I would prioritize going to him.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and do you say anything, Jacob? Like, I don't know, I'm okay.
I don't know what happened. I just don't feel like I can move at all, and he just passed out.
Okay.
I feel that the air's getting heavy or something, but it wasn't that bad by any means.
I don't know, I just feel stuck. Like
You two thought this was just a dream. Do you still think that?
I don't know. I mean, it could also be like some sort of, you know, your body doesn't move, you know, when you're sleeping. I don't like. I've read some articles about it, but I don't know. It just feels weird. Everything.
At this point, I'm probably leaning down to Doug and like checking for a pulse. Maybe I don't know.
Okay. Let us have you roll against your first aid skill that Jules has.
All right.
Ooh, so close. We will say
darn.
you at least. Maybe you're not you don't know exactly what to do to like get him to wake up right away. But when you feel his pulse, he has a pulse.
Okay.
You can kind of see his chest moving a little bit, so he's breathing.
Mm-hmm.
So he is breathing and he has a pulse. That much you do know. Does anybody do anything to try to maybe wake him up? What are you doing right now, Scotty?
I'm still in the back. I'm still back where we were originally standing. I haven't moved.
Oh, really? You didn't even run back to like help them?
I mean, I could like be slowly walking up and be like, "Ah, it's quiet finally."
Yeah, I can picture him just kind of folding his arms, like,
Yeah,
"Oh God, here's a door
I
to
could
the."
even just be like walking over to Doug and just being like, "Hey, bud, wake up!" Just like tapping him.
Okay. Oh, here'll be a fun way to do this. You start poking him on his face.
Yeah, I'll poke him on his cheek.
Doug, could you run roll a notice skill for me? We'll determine whether or not you wake up. Ooh, man. As you're poking on his face, he probably like stirs a little bit, like almost like somebody who's sleeping when they're just like, no, mumbling a little bit of nonsense, but doesn't wake up. So you're getting a response.
Well, it's nice to know he's alive, or semi-alive.
Is it though? No, I'm just kidding.
Arguably.
Yeah, it's arguably nice to know that he's alive.
Okay, what about the one doing the prayer next to us? How's he doing?
I don't know. I just couldn't really move.
Let's say it has been a couple of minutes now. So Jacob, could you roll once again? And this is going to go against your struggle skill once again.
Okay.
Because you're still struggling right now. Ooh, yeah, she is not looking better. We'll say that. He's still having a really hard time, like, moving.
Yeah. It's like I'm stuck and just like, I don't know, it feels like something is holding me down, but I don't know. I don't see anything. I just feel like I can't really, you know, twitch my body even.
Could I use like connecting the dots or something here to like figure out if it's the fact that we're getting closer to that building, or like the further we go away from like the restaurant area, is making us feel this way, or?
Okay, you can try. We'll roll against your connecting the dots skill, which chat should know is actually pretty high for Jules. Ooh, okay. We will say, and the way we're going to use this skill a lot of times, it's going to be a little bit of a meta skill, because the things I tell you, you could pretty much assume are true as the GM and stuff. So when I tell you that you kind of deduce certain things, you can assume that it's like probably right. We'll say that.
Right.
We will say that thought crosses your mind. You go, I wonder if this has anything to do with like walking towards the elevator building. But then you think to yourself, like, wait, like, we barely moved. It's like we didn't even get that close. Like, Doug tried to take... It looks like he tried to, you know... We're like 5 or 6 steps away from where we were all talking here just a minute ago. He tried to take like 5 or 6 steps and passed out and his nose is bleeding. And Jacob is like struggling right there. So you know, from the information you have so far, you were pretty certain that it doesn't exactly have anything to do with the proximity to the building. And that it's something else that is doing this.
Okay.
That, like, from the information you have, you're pretty sure of that. Let me... Okay, you guys are fine. Does anybody try to do anything? I mean, you got a passed out Doug on the ground.
Oh, I'm gonna... Oh, never mind.
I would probably take off my jacket, maybe, because I imagine we're on, like, concrete or something. And put it under Doug's head just in case he starts like seizing or something. I want him to like be all right.
Okay, so you'd say you kind of like roll up your jacket a little bit, lift up the back of his head, and put it underneath his head.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, just to like protect his head, and then just kind of like look around and try and figure out what to do next.
I'm gonna give you some chances here, Doug. Roll your notice skill again.
There you go.
Oh man! We actually, what is your notice skill? Okay, your notice is a 20. He rolled a 26. Once again, Doug looks like he's close to maybe waking up a little bit. He stirs a little bit as Jules goes to move his head, but he doesn't fully regain consciousness. Poor Doug, man. Poor Xylo's like neck and back. I feel like he's gonna get sore after a while doing that. Should I just get rid of your camera?
No, I'm good. I'm just resting.
You're good?
I will say these chairs are very uncomfortable, so...
This is better than sitting up.
Yeah.
Probably.
I would say my character's starting to get annoyed with Doug not waking up.
Oh, is he?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, so selfish. How does this affect me? This is annoying me.
You not being awake right now is bothering me.
I want to see something. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't really activate any kind of stimulus of you. I was trying to see if there's any skills you could try to do here. Oh man, rolls just aren't on your side so far. And
They've
we'll
never
say
been on my side.
We'll say once again, it has been another minute or two since you've been trying to wake up Doug, and I'm going to keep giving you opportunities to stop feeling the way you're feeling, Jacob. So you're going to roll against your struggle skill once again. This is pretty much going to determine how long this lasts, pretty much.
Ooh.
So close! Oh, man! See, Jakey, I'm a really nice guy. And the nice guy part of me wants to say that your struggle skill is 30, and you just rolled a 31. You were so close to rolling your struggle skill, but you didn't quite make it. But, okay, we'll give you, like, a kind of partial success since you're so close. You're still feeling it, but the pressure that you're kind of feeling and the weight you might feel on you starts to feel like it lifts a little bit, I'd say. You start to maybe feel a little bit lighter. Like, maybe you can stand up if you tried, if you wanted.
Right.
Do you try to do anything? Like, do you try to press your luck and, like, stand up now that you're feeling a little bit
I would try to
better?
stand up, just, try to move around a little bit, see if I can definitely feel like I seem like I'm better off than earlier.
Okay, you can notice that, like, you feel better. Okay, so I will say as you try to stand up, roll against your struggle skill one more time.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Here it is.
Oh my god!
Yes!
Oh, man.
9.
Same thing I got him in this position.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Oh, God.
As
Go ahead,
Jacob Jacob, as you stand up, you feel a really sharp pain in your head, like in your temple. You just suddenly have a terrible headache. You were lightheaded. You fall to your knee again. You, like, fall back down. You don't fully pass out. But I would say, Jules and Scotty, you notice Jacob is also now bleeding from his nose.
Guys.
What is happening?
I don't feel so good.
Okay.
Is that...
I'm going to give you an opportunity here, Jakey. We'll see how this goes. I'm not going to explain too much because we're going to see how this goes. So you were in Jacob is in a really tough spot right now. But Jacob also, at the beginning of this dream, he rolled really well. You rolled really well. So you were still really convinced that this is a dream. What does Jacob want to do right now more than anything? It could be anything. What does Jacob want to do?
Want to find a way to wake up in real life.
Okay.
Because I know it's a dream. So I know I just need to find a way to just, get myself up. Then I'll be fine, That's what I believe in.
Okay. Let me look at your skills really quick.
Okay.
Let's see. I guess we could roll against that skill. Oh, we could roll against that skill. This one I might kind of keep secretive. Okay, roll for me.
Okay.
Oh my god. Okay, so let me just say this. I was having Jakey roll against his read the room skill. I was kind of justifying it and thinking, like, okay, this ties to his, like, perception, kind of, and, like, knowing what's going on. And if he really wants to wake up, he can wake up. His read the room skill is 40, and he rolled a 41. He did it again. He rolled one above the number he would have had to roll to succeed. And I will say right now, full spoiler, if Jakey had rolled better right there, we would have seen Jacob disappear, and he would have woken up in his bed.
Gosh, dang it.
Well, enjoy your stay, because you're here a little longer.
Yep. I'm suffering.
And I will also say, because I forgot to do this, I will say I have this written down in my notebook, because I have notes for this. Who would have thought? And just so people know how I'm kind of doing these things, I have a lot of, like, if-then sort of things. So, like, if this happens, this thing happens. If you guys roll like this thing happens. So there's a lot of that. And let me just say, oh man, how do I want to do this? Doug, you wake up. Okay? You're still with everybody. You recognize where you are. You might notice some blood coming from your nose. As Doug wakes up, you guys might start to notice. Actually, everybody, once again, roll against your notice skill. I want to see who notices this first, or if they notice it at all. Doug's still a little fuzzy, so he probably doesn't notice it. Kayla, no. Okay, so none of you guys notice this at first, but you will notice it eventually. We'll just say we, the audience, notice that it has stopped raining. And now that it has stopped raining, some of the buildings that are surrounding these guys, you start to see a little bit of smoke gathering. It looks like a black sort of smoke gathering from the buildings. All the smoke slowly comes together in the middle of the street, sort of right in front of them. And the smoke slowly forms the shape of what seems like a person. It is a big, like, shadowy looking kind of creature. I'd say it's about 7 feet tall. It has red eyes. But from what you guys can tell, it's really hard to kind of make out any details on them because you kind of see like this shadowy figure. And off the shadowy figure, that smoke you just saw is kind of flowing off of this creature. There's like black smoke coming off of this thing. And this thing is in the middle of the road. As I said, it's hard to make out details, but if you look at its face, you can kind of make out what looks like a smile. Like a sinister-looking smile on its face.
How hard did you hit me?
Not hard enough.
This thing is looking at you and it says, "Hello. It's good to meet you all."
It's not nice to meet you.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, you look confused. You must be wondering who I am. I'll say none of you know who I am, but I know you. I know all of you. I know you way more than you think.
And who are you?
I don't know if I'm ready to introduce myself yet.
Does anybody...
A little unfair if you know who we are. Go ahead.
Does anybody question the fact that this guy knows you?
Yes.
You question it?
Must have seen one of my commercials.
I mean, we've seen a lot today, so... Or, like, between the past couple of days, so at this point, I probably wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, so we will say if is anybody questioning it in their mind, like, this guy's full of crap, like, what is he even talking about? He doesn't know me.
I'd probably say it out loud.
Okay.
My face hurts.
As you say that, Scotty, he looks at you and he goes,
"Oh? You don't believe me, do you?"
And at that moment, he lifts his hand and snaps his finger. And as he does, Scotty, roll for me.
Do it big.
Oh man, that is a good roll.
Roll.
My first good roll.
You were having none of it. So you might see him like look at you, and he stares at you for a minute, and he keeps staring at you. He might look a little confused. Again, his face is all shadowy and dark. It's really kind of hard to make out facial like expressions.
Yeah.
And he says,
You seem to have more control than I thought. This will be interesting.
and we're gonna say at that moment is when we end the stream.
Oh boy. Oh boys.
Oh boy,
Scotty, what'd you get yourself into? Oh boy. Oh boy.
That was about almost 3 hours. That felt like a good time for a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
A rough day.
Okay, I almost forgot to do this. I'm gonna spoil this now. I literally have a name for this character, by the way. This is gonna be like a thing. It's a character. It's a pretty important NPC. And I literally have their name written down. I have a little star that says crit fail equals fill in the blank appears. Like, I have that written down in my notebook that was planned. So the only reason that creature showed up is because of Doug's 100.
Wow.
Bring you all the greatest mishaps and stuff.
Well.
Thank you so much.
Good luck, Scotty.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So yeah, it was definitely an evil creature that showed up in the middle of the road. I'm glad that happened there. Oh no, he's probably a good guy.
Yeah.
Can we get a hashtag pray for Scotty?
Pray for Scotty.
I feel like a lot of us are in danger.
Yeah.
I would say
Doug
the way
will
to
save the day.
Oh boy.
the way you would kind of read that as the audience is the fact that it didn't work on you, Mitch. The fact that it didn't, whatever he was trying to do didn't work on Scotty. He didn't seem mad about it. He seemed almost more amused. Like, oh, this is going to be a challenge. This will be fun. Kind of thing. It had more of that kind of a vibe instead of like, no, why isn't it working?
Yeah, it's kind of just like, oh, I'm gonna have fun with you, in a sense.
I like how everyone in chat is praying for Scotty. Yeah, I'm praying for Scotty too. I'm praying for this whole group. Did everybody have fun with today's stream? How did you like it, chat?
Do you feel? Take a nap.
Yeah.
I love that I rolled poorly every single time except for the last roll.
That was a big roll too.
Yeah.
You I just want to say like
every time except for a very important roll.
Yeah. Oh, and Jakey with the rolls too.
I know it's always like one off.
I don't know what's worse. The outcome is better by getting closer, but it's almost worse just on a personal level where it's just like, I was so close. I was off by 1.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. The 99, 41, and 31.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So close yet so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think some people noticed that Kaylee the name Kaylee made a little bit of a cameo.
Yeah.
Even as a crazy
those pictures,
great.
Pretty perfect.
She took choices.
I'll say this after the fact now that I knew that I was gonna have that conversation with Jakey, and I knew I was gonna bring up like another photographer's like gallery opening. And I thought of the idea of just like, oh, you're probably better off that you're not going anyway, because, you remember her last series of photos? It was just all cats.
Yeah.
And I thought of that first, and then I'm trying to think of a name for the character.
Was cats as well, let's be real.
Yeah, and I was trying to think of a name for the character, and I was just like, oh, Kaylee. Oh, it's perfect. The character's called Kaylee. Everybody will get that reference.
Yeah.
Always good.
Like, Jacob couldn't get out like last time, It took him like, he spent hours, like he was stuck there.
Oh man,
So,
Doug had a rough time today.
Doug had a real rough time.
Those
I'm always
rolls,
a fan
man.
of the crazy bad rolls.
I always have a tough time, it seems.
Yeah.
True.
And I want to say, chat,
gosh.
forgive me. It is in my natural nature to kind of take it easy on these guys and stuff. But with a campaign like this,
you know me too well.
yeah, with a campaign like this, I actually have to struggle to do this. Like I have to torture these guys. If they roll badly, they need to feel it, or else bad rolls really don't have any weight. Then if things really bad don't happen to the characters. There's actually an interesting thing in the book where it's just when it's talking about your character creation. And I thought this was great. They said, in a campaign like this, you expect your characters to get into bad stuff and bad things to happen to them. If you want your character to be safe, make them an accountant who never leaves their office. And you'll be fine. And you'll be boring, too. Pretty much, if you want it to be exciting, bad things need to happen to the characters. It's just sort of the nature of these campaigns.
So I'm doing really good.
Yep, Xylo's doing the best. He's good at this.
I also love the moment when you alley-oop to the mozzarella stick moment to me. Fully knowing which direction I would take it.
Yeah,
I know exactly when you were gonna. Before you say it, I know you're gonna say something like that, Xylo.
I wasn't even thinking about it being your fear response.
I was feeling it. I was like,
I actually knew that beforehand, but I didn't clock that in my head whatsoever. I would just start describing it as something crazy and gross, and then when you said something, I was like, oh, he knew what I was about to do.
Because I would have said worms as well if I was
Kayla's
you,
camera
if I
just
would do
disappeared.
that.
Or Kayla disappeared in Kayla broke the cameras.
Try.
It's refreshing.
I didn't even do it. It's just
Yeah.
the internet.
It's just doing
Hey,
it.
the internet held up for the most of the time. We're good.
Ooh, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh no.
We managed to get the show going, even though 2 of us are away. So
It'll be normal next week.
hopefully.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess before we finished, I just want to thank everybody for coming, all the viewers. I want to thank these 4 wonderful people for being here. I want to give a little extra special thanks to Xylo and Kayla for almost insisting on doing this on their vacation.
Yeah, Mev was kind of just like, we don't have to do the show, and we were just like, but we wanna.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here. I want to play. I want the content to come out. I want everyone to have the episode to watch. The show just launched. I don't want to make it stop the week after.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so I will say, like, as much as I'm giving Xylo a hard time and doing the whole hashtag blame Xylo for the thing not happening Tuesday, if you saw our Discord DMs, you will see it is exactly as Xylo just described, where he mentions, like, oh, I'm actually going away because, you know, me and Kayla are going away, so I don't think Tuesday night's going to work. And I was quick to just be like, oh, you know, that's fine. We'll just do it, like, next week. You guys can, like, enjoy your vacation. You never take vacations. You might as well enjoy it. And Xylo was like, but we want to play. I'm like, are you sure? Like, you guys just don't want to, like, enjoy yourselves and have time off from, like, content? And he's just like, no, I mean, we could.
Yeah.
He's like, we could probably make it work. So, like, yeah, if you saw our conversation, it is a lot of me being like, are you sure? Like, we can just take a break till next week. And Xylo being like, no, we're doing this. So.
Look, I have to take a week without work. At least give me one challenge to overcome. Come on.
Okay. Before we finish, does anybody have anything everybody want to shout themselves out quick? The things they do.
Xylophoney. You can follow me on Twitch. It's great. You'll find it somewhere.
This channel.
The channel you're on.
But yes, this is going to be essentially the only stream this week because we are going to be skipping Star Wars for this week because I'm going to be essentially on a plane Sunday.
Yeah.
But then the week after, we should be back with the full schedule of live streams, of course, with this series returning on Tuesday and Star Wars D&D coming back on Sunday, and of course all the other streams you're used to seeing.
I realized last week rewatching it, I never really let Jakey shout himself out that much.
Jakey, tell him about your channel.
Yeah, tell him about your channel and the things you do there.
It's QuteJakey.
With a Q, right? Similar to how it's written in the stream.
I'm weird, and it's like I'm extra. So
it's extra weird, QuteJakey.
KAKUY, and
no, it's not extra weird. It's weird extra.
Yes, it's weird extra. Yeah. So I just role plays. Yay.
Yep. And you do similar to all of us. You do Minecraft YouTube roleplay content. I notice you do some live streams over there on YouTube as well, correct?
Oh yeah, recently I'm doing something called a Cutest Design. I'm bringing back a skin designing competition live stream, so make sure to check it out. It's tomorrow night.
Oh yeah. Join Jakey tomorrow night
9:30. I know,
for his stream. I'm sure most of the people in the chat already are subscribed to Jakey on YouTube, but if you're not, go subscribe to Jakey. QuteJakey, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Mr. Mitch, what do you do on the internet? What's your deal?
I make Minecraft role plays when I'm not working 24/7. Yeah, I mean, same stuff as everybody else. I plan on doing some extra video games soon, like when Fairy Tail drops, the console game. I plan on recording that for the channel. So that'll be fun.
Oh yeah, Mitch is a weeb. We should mention that. He's all over those. And you also, I mean, I've caught you sometimes. You do some Twitch streaming as well, correct?
Yeah, actually, I stream when I have a chance. Actually, next week is the first week I have like 5 days off, which is awesome. So I'm probably gonna be streaming a lot. For the first time with this campaign, I'm actually going to be off from work the day of the campaign, so I want to like rush home.
Oh, cool.
Which is great. But yeah, I mean, on Twitch, I streamed last night. I did some Animal Crossing. I did some Sea of Thieves and Dead by Daylight. So it is a big variety on the Twitch channel.
Yo, Mitch, you gotta go. You should play some Sea of Thieves with me and Xylo one day.
Yeah, let's get it. I'm down.
Yep, and yeah, so you can catch Mitch, Crazy Mitch 42 on YouTube, and same on Twitch, right? Same name on both.
Same thing.
Crazy Mitch with no I in the Mitch. That's kind of the that's the way I always remember it.
Yep.
And Kayla, what do you do besides giggling and messing with Xylo?
Well, I do a lot of that on my YouTube channel too. I'm gonna be honest. You can go check it out at Kaykrae.
Same as her name below her name below the face
Yeah.
cam. And I am once again Mevoda. I have been your GM for today. I do my own Twitch streaming sporadically on my channel, and I do some YouTube videos from time to time as well. You can catch me Mevoda on both of them. Merv, as some people in the chat say, that is one of my names. But anyway, I think that's it. I just want to give everyone a chance to shout each other out. As Xylo mentioned,
I'm very confused at what I'm watching.
I don't even want to know. As I yeah, because you guys don't see the whole thing. We see their whole face cam, and they're like,
I'm trying to keep her peanut butter finger in the shot.
Oh my god, peanut butter!
In your shot.
I'm pretty sure there's always some peanut butter in my shot.
Yep.
I put peanut butter on his face.
I just want to say,
finally getting to the peanut butter.
We kind of, I think me and Jakey, even when we were talking last night and mentioning that Xylo and Kayla were going to be in the same place streaming, we mentioned that it was only a matter of time before one of them jumped in the other person's camera to mess with them. But it's even easier now since they're technically using the same webcam. They're sitting right next to each other.
Yeah, we couldn't do the setup very cleanly, so...
But we made it happen.
No
yeah, I was envisioning like Kayla yelling Alexander at some point. But
yeah, that was what Jakey said. I was actually surprised we didn't get an Alexander. Alexander. Also, I noticed some people noticed that I did this on purpose last week, which is the guy that they talked to in the elevator in like the little like speaker thing. His name was Alexander.
Yep.
And I did that because I knew everybody would spam the Alexander emote in chat. So good job, chat. You did well.
Yep.
Alexander.
So yeah, with that, I think as Xylo mentioned, we will be back to our regular day, Tuesday evening, 10 p.m. EST, for the next Awakening stream. So we will see you guys then. As he said, no Star Wars this Sunday, but we will be pretty much back to regular D&D stuff the following week. Correct?
That's right.
All right. Anybody got any more things before we say goodbye?
Pretty good.
All right. Say goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.